Going live now. All right, man. We're gonna do a little special tonight on P Diddy and his trial kicking off. We're gonna see how many dudes Diddle done did.
R.I.P. Meek Mill's fucking dignity.
A lot of them, man. Yeah, apparently, like Bieber's been hardcore falling off the train, been having problems with drug use again. His wife's getting ready to leave him.
Yeah, the Biebs has been going mental. Is really going off the rail, all from the abuse of that animal. Yeah, all of his victims been going nuts. What's up, Cranky Flock, Carol? What's going on?
Yeah,
I just had to cut you off, but Uncle Edwin, congratulations on the baby. His grandbaby was born, and they named him, after his namesake. So he's very proud of that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I wished him a congratulations today. He, I think, tagged us both in a video, but he tagged me in a video for certain. So I was telling him congratulations this afternoon.
See, I didn't see half of the things. And R.I.P. to Biddy. How you doing, Sharon? And Nick, the mailman Nick's dog Lola died.
Oh, that's a bummer, man. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that for everybody who had animals pass. I know Sharon did, and I wrote her in the comments section of that post she put up.
Yeah, mailman Nick. You know him?
No.
He's actually a real good dude. He found the channel on just somehow, but he's actually a mailman. He's got his own channel. He's an Italian. He's a paisan.
Right on.
Good dude, Chicago guy, person, good person.
Right on. Yeah, I'm not familiar with him, but I still send all my best to him, man, for losing a pet. I know how hard that is. I personally know how hard that is. It really sucks, man. You know, I've told you before, I had dogs all my life, but the last Akita that I had, when that dog passed, I was like, okay, I can't do this again right now. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm going to have to fucking take a break. And then I ended up in a condo and shit for a while. So, and you know, my wife and all that kind of stuff. So we're waiting before we move into a place with like a big enough yard, or at least that's not, I don't know, somewhere that at least in hell that's close enough for me to take the dog to a park, for God's sake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, that shit fucked.
That's why you got to stay up in the cabins up there. Always stay up in the cabins of hell. Always. Yeah, Akitas are great dogs. You've had many of the Akitas there. I've fostered one before, as you know. What's up, Bears? William, what's up?
Yeah, that was I mean, we had dogs growing up and stuff, but just by happenstance, my first dog that I had, like, for me, you know, because you like me, you left, like, and you were out on your own early too, and so was I, you know, and the first dog that I ended up with on my own, just the way it shook, was an Akita, really? You know, and then so that's what I knew. So like moving forward in my life, when I would get dogs, I would just get another Akita.
Yeah, I moved out of my mother's at 16. I moved into my aunt's in-law apartment. Right, she had like an in-law apartment, and I brought my dog with me. I had a Roddy and a Doberman at the time.
Right.
What's up, Greg?
Yeah, I love the Makitas, man. Dogs. But yeah, and they're awesome, dude. They're very vocal. They're extremely, like, you don't have to train them barely. They're just really fucking smart, dude. And they pick up real quick on like the going outside, the sitting down, the laying down, the leash walking. At least the dogs I had just seemed to take right to the commands, as long as they came from one of the people in their core, like pack or family, right? So like me, my brother, my old lady. If it was one of us, like, we barely had to even try. You know, the dog just did what we asked, and the dog was always right next to you. Especially my dog was like, dude, it was like you had to pry him off of your leg. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just, whenever you walked, that dog would have some part of its side or tail or something like coming in contact with you as you moved. And if you sat down, it would like do everything it could to sit like on your feet or between your legs. And once that happened, nobody's coming.
Yeah, they were Japanese. They protected Japanese emperors, and which samurais used them also. They go way back.
Yeah, they used them to hunt bears
also. Yep, big time hunt bears because they're so powerful. that look at the Akitas.
Yeah, they're strong. They'll fool you.
Yeah.
And they're really goofy dogs too. They're very goofy. They're silly. When they want to play and stuff, they'll start shit. They're funny. Yeah.
Yeah. How about
Mickey? Yeah,
you hit
Mickey,
on Dustin's comment just for his avatar since it's P Diddy night. His boy bites.
Yes, I can.
That's
absolutely
the funniest thing. What's up, Com? How you doing?
Let me scroll up.
Boy bites. Yeah, I watched Heidi's channel and for a minute, and this was the second day of trial, but I think it's just opening statements or something.
No, they're doing jury selection right now. But there's a lot of because there's been a gag order for so long, the press is finally able to hear some of the things that normally would have come out by now. And for one, I just wanted to start off before we even get to the press and some of the stuff and start reading the articles and things. This dude turned down a plea deal. That's number one I wanted to talk to you about. He turned down a plea deal, and two, he's still planning to testify.
Really? What was the plea deal?
I don't know what they didn't say in any of the articles I saw. Now, if Heidi's in here and she knows, because I know she follows this stuff, or if anybody else saw, feel free to throw that in the chat for us. But I didn't see any details of a plea deal or the agreement that they gave him. I only saw in several places that he turned down a plea agreement, and that shit. Because he's playing with fire, man. He's either especially with the testifying thing, it's he's rolling the dice on a full acquittal, and I just don't see it in his future, man. He has a lot of shit to beat, and they've got witnesses that are coming in, man. That's they've had. Here's a good example. One of the charges underneath his RICO is an arson. They said that he ordered somebody's car to be set on fire. Well, the people that set it on fire flipped.
It's on there.
Right. So right there, you're not in good
shooting
shape.
Lady in the face, right?
I hope. I haven't seen anything about her or her case or her name.
She's going to testify, though. She's been all over social media.
I really hope.
For years. So if she's an eyewitness that's saying he shot at me, and she's got a doctor to back that. So that's two people. Right.
Yeah, hopefully she, like I said, I haven't seen anything about her yet, but hopefully she will testify. And then, I guess that would really just be to his character, though, because if she was going to testify, they would have to charge him with that for it to stick. And I don't think that they have.
He's not charged with shooting that lady at the nightclub.
No, I don't think so.
It's got to be in there, man. The shooting.
I have a list of the charges. I'll read you here in just a moment. I have those prepared. I have a list of the charges and a couple other things that I'm going to read.
That shocks me if that's the case.
Again. Yeah, again, I just haven't seen anything about that because remember, most of this is hinging around the sex trafficking and everything that has to do with controlling people that were attached to that, including that arson. Everything they put underneath the RICO is saying that he ran an enterprise of people with the sole purposes of recruiting sex workers and or silencing regular everyday people that he was able to draw into these freak offs. I just don't understand
why that they didn't charge him with that. You got the witness, it's a slam dunk. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see if it comes up. Like I said, I think that they just stuck to very specific sets of charges that had to do with that core conspiracy, right? Because again, so here, let me pull these charges up.
That baffles me. That lady who was shot right in the face is not. That's not in there at all. Wow, that's weird. Very weird.
Yeah, it says in the federal criminal case being heard in New York, Mr. Combs is charged with racketeering conspiracy, 2 charges of sex trafficking and 2 charges of transportation to engage in prostitution. Now, the only place the shooting, like the charge you're talking about, the only place that it could sneak up on us would be under just that blanket racketeering conspiracy. But I don't think so. I think that anything we see in there is going to have to do with the sex stuff, because it says right underneath there, it says that the racketeering includes accusations of kidnapping, drugging, arson, coercing women into sexual activities, sometimes using firearms or threats of violence. Yeah, and some of the defense is really, really strange already. Some of the things that they're saying, which is like, they're trying to say, oh no, he was just a swinger, and he thought that the swinging lifestyle was normal and acceptable. He thought that having sex with sex workers was normal and acceptable. And so it's like, bro, again, you guys are putting the emphasis on the wrong syllable, right? Like, we're not talking about you just having sex with prostitutes. Some people, citizens across the range have a range of opinions on that, but that's not even what we're talking about. We're not talking about swinging either. We think that that's degenerate and gross, some of us, but it's not illegal.
No, it's not what we're talking about. That girl on tape, and she's going to talk too. He's done with that.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though, is like, I'm glad you brought that up. So let's talk about that for a minute, the Cassie chick, right? Because everything with this court case is going to come down to the context, right? Just like anything else, and like the intent of certain things. So, actual girlfriend or fiance or whatever, like, his girl, she wasn't a hired sex worker or quote unquote random person that got burst or brought into this thing, right? So the problem that I see happening with her testifying is that she's going to say that, because what they're trying to tie her into, again, they're saying that he was dragging her back to the room because she was refusing to be part of a freak off or refusing to be part of a sexual activity of some kind, that it's kidnapping and holding her against her will. And that part is certainly true. If she wants to leave and you run out of the room and kick her fucking ass and drag her back like a caveman, well, then, yeah, you just abducted a woman for the Chinese, basically. Like, you just abducted her in the hallway. But they can't. The problem is, though, is that if they actually try to frame it around it being connected to this weird sexual ring, because that might fall apart, then you've got a bad taste in people's mouths, right? And I don't like that. I think that they should just be very direct and say, hey, listen, we're just charging you with kidnapping and assault or battery or whatever it may be, because we have video of you committing a fucking kidnapping and an assault and a battery. If they just leave it there instead of adding you did that because you wanted her to be part of this weird sex ring, or you did that because you were dragging her back to the room for a freak off. Because if she gets on the stand and she says, well, I was his girlfriend, he was beating the shit out of me, I left, he kidnapped me, that part's true. But then she adds on to that and says, but it had, nobody else was in the room, or he wasn't trying to make me do the sex thing, or whatever. Then if it's framed that way, it could go south. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, listen, anything can happen, right? This guy can beat the whole thing and get out and become America's hero. It's a weird fucking world. I don't see how it's going to happen with, those women taking the stand and telling them stories. Yeah, they should have charged them with that shooting also, right? You got a witness right there. But who knows? It's a weird, sick world. This guy might even just walk free, sadly, right? Who knows?
I mean, anything's possible.
I doubt it, though, with all the witnesses.
Yeah, I don't see how he's going to do it. Right. So let me scroll down here real quick, because they also
depends how they talk. If she gets up there and tells her story and those jurors believe her, right, with the videotape there too, no matter what sullies them or nothing, that's always going to stick in their head. He's going to be found guilty in case they pay them off or something like scammy goes on.
Yeah, if they get to somebody or whatever. Yeah, but I was just going to add to that in addition to those charges that we were just talking about that have to do with the racketeering, the RICO again, which is the enterprise he had put together of people that were, remember, they would lock the doors. They would have cameras set up in all kinds of weird places that nobody knew about. He was drugging them, against, like when they say against the will, like without them knowing, right? He was drugging people, keeping the doors locked, making them stay there, bringing in food and drink, not allowing anyone to leave, even when they asked to leave. And then having a team of people whose job it was to give people IV fluids.
Yeah, so that's an operation. Right? That's a whole thing. What's up, Jason?
Right, that's the whole enterprise. And he was using money from
What's up, MRH?
His label and his like clothing company, like, you know what I mean? So that's how they tie it into taking all of that shit away. And they have people from that enterprise apparently that are going to testify. Now, in addition, though, to all of that, you also have a couple dozen of civil cases that are all literally for rape and assault and kidnapping and drugs. So that's like another couple of dozen.
Yeah, but there's no jail
charges.
Yeah, but there's no jail for that. He's just going to pay money.
Yeah.
So he don't care about that. Well,
but if some of those people, my point of that though, yes, you're right. I'm not taking away from anything you just said. Yes, you're right. In the civil cases, obviously he'll end up having to pay money. That's not a criminal case. However, my point of saying that is that those people are available to testify in this case.
Yeah. I heard that.
To say this dude fucking kidnapped me. This dude held me against my will. He trafficked me across 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 states, knowing I wanted to go home. Made me have sex with all manner of fucking weirdo people and do weird things, right? So those people are still available to testify that this guy has that behavior and that he is committing these crimes. The crimes that they are charging.
Cassie's going to testify, and she sued him.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. They already said like there is no NDA. And I missed. If Heidi, I think, had something to add to this, because I originally said that I read in an article, no NDA will hold up. It's not a barrier. Anytime there's a federal case, like all of that shit goes out the window. It doesn't matter if you've sued somebody. Doesn't matter if there's an NDA signed. That if you're called to a federal trial to testify, all that shit is out the window. Now, Heidi said that that's true. I believe she said in any felony case, or at least in this state, in that state. So either way, yeah, it doesn't matter.
What state is it happening in? Florida or New York?
New York.
All right. Well, New York's a shady state, so who knows what can happen. But no, I think he's going to go to jail for this. How many years? No. He might get some sweetheart politician money deal in the years he gets, but with all those witnesses, how can't you be found guilty, right? And
well, yeah, right. So again,
a video. We're not talking about liars, like scumbags, like Rat Squaw and people. We're talking about like these women who never had, like Cassie. She's not a felon. She has no charges, right? Why would she lie? And she has the video to prove it. He's fucked with
them. Yeah. And as far as, and I'll tell you with that, the point that you just made, as far as like some of these people not being criminals or being in the wrong, you couple that with what you said before, the sympathy for her, but then you multiply that sympathy situation times every single other woman that takes the stand with the combination of both things, not a criminal and calling upon sympathy, because a lot of these women are going to be like, I was just trying to be a singer.
Yeah.
Right. I just wanted to be a dancer. I was in this contest, right? I got pulled. Right, sure. I wanted to be a video girl. I got pulled to the side. They put me in the drink, and 10 dudes fucking had their way with me while he sat on the couch and masturbated, right? I mean, some of these charges and accusations are absolutely horrific.
Yeah, when you read some of those charges, it'll probably blow some people's minds, even that know about. What's up, Have? What's up, Yanks? That know about this fucking wacko.
Yeah, and as far as the time, you mentioned the time that he might get. So check this out. So if he's found guilty on just the racketeering charge, the enterprise charge, he faces life in prison automatic.
That's a good point, B1, and life in prison automatic.
Yeah, if he's found guilty on the racketeering charge, he faces up to life in prison. It says a statutory minimum sentence of 15 years if he's found guilty of one charge of sex trafficking. He's charged with 2 counts right now, so he would automatically get a 30-year minimum if he got found guilty of the sex trafficking charges. Then he's got transportation for purposes of prostitution. He has a couple of those. Each one of those carries a maximum sentence of 10 years each.
Really?
Yep. And then you have a myriad of years for like the different assaults and level of assaults. And I think kidnapping, it said, was like 15 or 20 years. So yeah, like each one of these charges on its own carry between like 10 and 20 years, except for the racketeering, which is, that's a life he could get for that. Because that racketeering, again, that has like 10 charges underneath that one title, right? That's where like the arson lives and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, he's and he made it clear he's taking the stand.
Yeah, he said he's going to testify against every person's fucking advice. He continues to say, I am going to testify. And I'll take you one further. In court, he was nodding yes or no to his attorneys when they were trying to pick jurors and stuff. And everybody apparently was telling him to just sit there, shut the fuck up, and look pretty, and let the lawyers do their job. Don't be trying to get involved in picking people. Like, he wanted one person picked just because they said that they stole a magic wand out of the Harry Potter store. There was a couple other people that said questionable things that the lawyers wanted to pass on, but I guess he was like showing his ass and insisting that they write him down on the list of 45. Like, they're going to pick the final 12 out of a group of 45. Here's another one, though. I didn't know this. They're going through 600 potential jurors.
Wow.
Yeah, this whole week they're going through 600 potential jurors, and they're asking them all a lot of weird questions. I mean, you'd expect them. Some of them you expect stuff like.
Well, how many people are trying to get on this case so they can write books afterwards? So people, jurors lie like sons of bitches to get on popular cases and shit. So they're going to go through a bunch of different people, make sure there's no biases or secret fans there.
Well, that's exactly right. The biases was exactly what I was getting ready to say to you. Like, the very first questions that they ask are, do you have any experience or have you ever experienced a sexual assault, right? Like, a couple of the guys were like, yeah, dude, that should happen to my sister, or that should happen to, one of my good friends. It's a girl. And then they would say, okay, well, can you be impartial in a trial when somebody's being charged with that? A couple of people said, hell no.
Yeah,
fuck
I
him.
Couldn't either.
Right. A couple of them were like, well, I think so. I would listen to the charge or the evidence if that's what you mean. And they were like, nope, get the fuck out of here. Here's another one, though. You're always saying, which I agree with, but you usually make the point that, dude, you're in New York. This is Puff Daddy. This is the biggest case in the world. Like, how the fuck are you possibly going to find jurors that aren't already biased, that haven't heard everything and read everything?
In New York, just look what they did in the Korea Madonna case and all that shit. They flooded the fucking papers and the TV, calling the mobsters and all this shit every fucking night. And same with Puff Daddy, right? It's good for the goose, is good for the gander, right? They're calling him all this shit every night, playing all these tapes. So they're tainted. Who's not going to have an opinion and know something about Puff Daddy in fucking New York? Right now, are they fans of his or people that hate him? That's the thing. I guess they got to weed out with these jurors, right?
Well, yeah, and they've been asking them like, have you there? I'm not going to pretend to remember the names of these There was a documentary made. There was like a short film made. There's been a couple of things put together that have been on like Netflix, et cetera, about Diddy, about the case, and like his history with women and stuff like this. And they were asking these people, have you seen this documentary? Have you seen this short film? Have you seen this thing? And some of the people were like, yeah, I've seen that shit. And they were like, okay, next. Like, bro, you're gonna run out of people.
Yeah, we're gonna run out of people. Everybody's seen. Who hasn't? In case you're pulling from groups of 70-year-olds and 80-year-olds, maybe they're not into caring about Puff Daddy. He's after their time, or someone they wouldn't watch, maybe. But anybody under the age of 50 is going to know him, especially in New Yorkers. They're all gonna know who he is.
And you know what, man? It'll be a small percentage, admitted, but even a percentage of some of those older people will probably have fucking watched some of it on Netflix, right? Or seen some. I'm just right. You never know. They'll just be like trying to catch up on current events or whatever. They would have seen it.
Lie to get on that case, because you got to think getting on that case is a life-changing thing. Remember that as a juror, getting on that case is life. Why do I say that? Because you're going to write books, you're going to do interviews, and you're going to get paid for all that. It's going to take somebody who's living okay to living much better than they ever could, because they're going to write books, get on all kinds of things, you know what I mean? So trust me, there's people trying to get in there lying their ass off to be jurors. Any kind of big popular case with celebrities, you have all kinds of, you'll have a lot of people acting like they don't like them or they're impartial, but they're secret like mega fans and shit, right? You're gonna have all kinds of swindlers trying to get on the jury on the swindler level of things. That's just without a doubt, nothing could stop that, especially in New York. In New York, no way. And even Jersey or Pennsylvania, you couldn't find people don't know who he is, right? Like, or heard about this shit, or hasn't seen the Cassie video and things like that. And I hate the son of a bitch, don't get me wrong. I'd put him in a gulag if it was up to me. But if we're speaking about fair trials and tainted juries, man, it don't really get worse than this, right?
I would agree with that.
But you're famous and shit's gonna come out, so
that's the problem. That's the problem. That's the shit. I mean, that's kind of you signed up to be that famous, right? You stoked the flame.
Yes.
You stoked the flame for that one.
He signed up for it, called himself the king of New York, and wore all these chinchilla coats and did all this deviant shit. And he's gonna suffer the wrath. But then on the other hand, I always look at the world as the devil works. Fucking, the devil is there. You never know. This guy could get off on some weird thing, like some technicality, weird bullshit in the middle of the trial. Who knows, right? Anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there will be something to some of these people. What's a better way to say it? These jurors, I think some of the jurors aren't going to be able to look past some of these testimonies where people are like crying or trying to get through their conversation and try to get through answers about how they were drugged or assaulted or raped or intimidated in order to remain silent. Here's actually an interesting thing. During his bail hearings, remember they had to take away his phone privileges. He wasn't allowed to fucking contact anybody. Even his lawyers had to come in and talk to him in these rooms that were in the secure parts of the jail because the judge called him out for intimidating witnesses and for trying to reach these people on the phone.
Because he's a fucking idiot. Amen, little man. Yeah.
And he even mentioned that this judge even mentioned that during a small part of a conversation in the jury selection. He was like, I remind you. I remember what it was. The Puff Daddy raised his hand in court like a 5-year-old. And when the judge was like, yes, Mr. Combs, what is it? And he goes, I need to use the bathroom. And the judge is like, okay.
It's like our gang, Stymie. Yes, Stymie, you can use the bathroom. And yes, Angela, big money to be made. Big money.
Yeah, but yeah, so the judge was just like, well, okay, what's the problem? And he goes, well, honestly, Your Honor, I'm a little nervous. My stomach's, a little agitated. He was like, all right, you can go to the bathroom. He's like, but, these people are coming with you. You're not to be out of sight. He's like, I remind you that you have you've already been admonished for witness intimidation and contacting witnesses when you weren't supposed to be and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, well, how come he's not charged with that? That seems like it would be part of your racketeering charge, dude.
And
think about that shit if somebody with a vowel for a last name, if they'd charge you with every motherfucking count of every single time you did it would be a fresh account.
If the vowel was there, you bet your ass. Now, did he ask to tinkle the judge? Like, you got to tinkle, little Puffy? Act like a little kid raising his hand. But you're right. If there was a vowel at the end of the last name, oh, yeah, forget about it. They'd put him in jail.
He'd have been charged with multiple counts of fucking witness intimidation and all kinds. They would have charged you with it. Yep. And I guess they haven't charged him with it. They were just, you've been admonished for it. Nah, fuck
they would have
that.
took the word over a fat war pig who stuffs dope in his ass. They would have believed anything. But they do want to get him though and nail him to a wall. But they don't have to make lies up about him. We've seen the videos. There's too many women saying the same and men singing the same tune. We seen pull the Justin Bieber thing up later when we talk about Biebs. Pull him up and blowing old Dal Beckham. God, it's just disgusting, that degenerate.
Well, even better than that, we can literally just pull up some of the more recent photos of
pull up some recent photos of the Biebs. And also later on, if we can, him performing fellatio on Odell Beckham and his pals in a club, which is disgusting.
Yeah, we can see.
And that's why I think this poor bastard. That's why I think this poor kid, his life is like spiraling because he was sexually abused by these men, these Hollywood freaks. And he couldn't even be normal with his wife sexually. Thank God I was never sexually abused, but my heart goes out to any man that was when they were kids or whatever. And if that did happen to you, do not be ashamed of it. Do not feel less of a man. But I'm guessing, and I'm hoping it don't affect them, but I'm guessing it affects a lot of these men when they're intimate with women, right?
For life.
So even he's got that beautiful wife and stuff, and he probably maybe can't perform or get off drugs or something, or that must haunt him why he's making love, maybe.
Yeah, that's the problem with the drugs and the alcohol. You're literally just trying to bury that. Like he must have this like crazy shame.
I'm talking about the sexual trauma. You're right, of the shame.
Me too. The shame, right? Yeah, we were talking about
like
the same
having
thing.
flashbacks of these animals, like he was a heterosexual young man, right? This kid,
and feeling unprotected. Your parents weren't there; they fed you to this monster. Your friend Usher fed you to the monster.
Yeah, he was a young man who was fed to these sexual predators, and that had to affect you. It's going to affect your psyche, man. It's got to. Maybe some people don't, and God bless them for that they don't not affected. But I'm sure if there was men that was willing to be like, hey, that happened to me. Like there's not many people would have the. I would lie, to be quite honest. If I was, God forbid, and thank God I was never sexually hurt by anybody. But if somebody did that to me, I would have never told nobody, and I would have killed the son of a bitch years later, right? Like a lot of men won't talk about that stuff. Right. So it's got to eat at them, I'm saying, especially sexually with your wife. It's got to affect these poor bastards. Heart goes out. Yep. That's why anybody that can hurt any child, any woman, anybody sexually, an animal, anything, you should really be in a gulag and tortured.
Yeah.
So Biebs is all messed up, ain't it? I've seen a few pictures lately.
Yeah, he hasn't been doing good. The small things that I've read and the pictures that I've seen haven't been good at all. He's been back on drugs. His having really bad problems with his wife. She's barely hanging in there.
But he has no. He's not going to court for. There's no charges against him.
No.
Well, not charges, but he's not considered a victim in this, right?
Right. No, I don't believe so. And they did say the names of a lot of celebrities.
Really? Yeah, you said you were going to read.
Yes, when they were specifically when they were going through the jury, there was a list of names. It's actually kind of messed up because the judge made a comment. The prosecutors were asking the jurors about this long list of names and places and asked them if they knew the names, if they knew who the people were associated with those names, how well they knew them or their work. Or about them. And they also asked them if they'd ever been to some of these places or heard about some of these places. Well, the list of people's names, celebrities' names that they read off, they said that it was a mixture of people's names that would come up in the trial as having been an attendant or an attendee at some of these parties. But also some of them were names of people that were expected to testify.
Oh, okay.
Now, the judge made a comment, an offhanded comment, and he compared the list of names to the back of the book in The Lord of the Rings because the list was so long.
What's up, Biggs? Wow, really?
Yeah, so the list of people's names, celebrities' names that they were reading to these people, asking them if they've ever heard of them, how familiar they are with their work, if they know anything about their personal lives, etc. The list was so long that the judge was like, Jesus Christ, it sounds like the fucking back of a Lord of the Rings book. You know, like that's crazy, man.
And saying last year, saying there's no way they're going to let all their actors and shit take the stand. Remember I was saying that shit? Yeah, I was wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm glad.
I mean, there's, I think about a lot of them. You're probably right. I think that they had a really long list of people's names, and they said it was a mixture of people that were attendees at these parties or events, and some of them would be people that were expected to testify. I would, if I had to guess and put a dollar on it, I would say even if the list was 100 people long, I would say probably 4 or 5 of them will probably testify.
Yeah. No, good point on that. Yeah, I didn't think anybody they'd put up there, but you're right. If there's 50 people on the list, maybe 4 of them, 5 might take the stand, if that.
Yeah, they'll be able to get.
Well, they're going to protect careers. Remember, right? These multi-billion-dollar performers, singers, they're going to want to protect their careers. And those judges and prosecutors are handed envelopes of money. You think they're going to say, should I take these millions, or should I, I don't know, man. It's
Oh yeah, Ashton Kutcher would stab himself in the gut to make sure he was in the hospital the day he was supposed to testify. Like that's what I'm saying. Like people like I don't even think he got asked, right? So like I don't think here's a good one that I think everybody can agree should absolutely be there, and that's Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah, J-Lo hit his gun when he shot that poor woman in the nose.
Dude, and some of these women were talking about she was in the room when they were doing this freaky shit. Remember, one of them, we laughed our asses off. One of the women said that for some reason he used to like to have Jennifer Lopez music videos on loop while he laid on the couch and masturbated and watched her do his girlfriends. Like, bro, you're nasty, bro. You're a disgusting freaking
and then he goes suck 2-3 pricks. What a fucking... These Ricky try guys, closet Harambe types are the most sickest degenerates. And I'll respect the little flower Fanuc, little Gail Fortloy from the movie This Boy's Life. I'll respect Richard Simmons, a flamboyant Fanuc, any day of the week over a closeted freak. Okay? At least you know the Fanuc's a Fanuc. God bless. Do what you want, you fucking freak.
Yeah, bro. I will literally I have no problem with fucking gay dudes that are not degenerate and don't hit on me or like act like scumbags or do. I have no problem with that whatsoever. It's like you said, God bless you. Do you? Man.
I say God bless. I don't want nothing bad to happen to you, but do I think they are degenerates just because they're homosexuals? Yes, I believe they are. Even if they're normal gay dudes, right? 2 gay guys who love each other, who are married or whatever they want to call their union, and they live in a home, I say God bless them, and I wish nothing bad on them, right? But I still think they're degenerates because of that lifestyle. That's just my
fair enough. And that's your opinion. That's fine. That's fine. I wouldn't cross that line unless they were out doing the fuck you dad and had dicks in both hands and was like pouring around and being,
I respect them way more, a million times more than these closet try guys who go with women and make them go with men and women, all that degenerate shit.
For sure.
It's all degenerate, but that's even more at least these people, they're degenerates, is what I'm saying.
Even if no, totally. And I'm not a fucking I feel the same way if it was a woman. I feel this. You'd be just as degenerate.
Well, yeah, it's degenerate, but it's a little more when it comes to men. But yeah, it's just as bad, but it's a little more because men are putting things in them. It's still all bad.
Women are too, bro. They're putting those fucking toys on the ends of drills and shit. Forget about it.
That's really crazy. Yeah, I think it's
that's what I mean. You gotta fucking. Remember they're wearing those fucking strap-ons in their pants.
Yeah, it's a mental. Like they walk around. It's a total demon mental illness. I have a lesbian cousin, and I hope she comes to God one day and leaves that degenerate filth behind. And I grew up with and know a nice lesbian person, and.
Again, if you're not out though at the fucking sex party freak off,
I would never hang with them at some like gay place. Hell no. Do I have a sympathy for them? I think there's some mental if they were attacked or something weird, like my cousin, I believe maybe something like that. I don't know. But I wish one day she
stand there. You couldn't stand there and watch a dude get attacked that was minding his own business just because he happens to be gay.
No, I'm not going to go gay bash nobody. Hell no.
No, not you. I'm saying if you're standing around in public and you see people literally like fucking crowding around somebody for no reason, screaming faggot and shit, like beating on them for no reason, then that's like, no, bro. It's still our brother or our brother and sister. You know what I'm saying? Like if they're not a disgusting or degenerate freak spreading the bug, I'm not gonna stand there while people.
Well, yeah, I agree with you to an extent. I'm not gonna call them brother and sister, but I am gonna feel bad and say they're humans and you should not bully them, right?
Oh yeah, if they're human though, they're your brother or sister. We're all brothers or sisters.
Yeah, some of us suck real they're sinning really bad, But it's they always say, don't hate the sinner, hate the sin. But
I really hate the part where you sodomize people.
I really hate the part where you put your Billy fucking what's that guy? That fucking Fanuc. Your Boy George album's on and start banging your friends.
Oh yeah. That guy's a degenerate. He chained that little twink to his wall. Remember that?
The twinks, tying up twinks. They like to do that.
Yeah, that's no good. You can't be keeping these people for 3 days tied to your wall, bro, and assaulting them. It's not okay,
that's what our pal Sean Puffy Combs has been doing to people.
You're damn right.
Sick bastard.
What do you think, bro?
What do you think? We've been talking about like what happens to some young men that get molested and shit. He was. Without a doubt, his mother threw a house party. This is all my hypothesis and educated guess. And I am educated on it. His mother used to throw massive house parties with all kinds of people in there. I believe somebody slipped into this young man's room when he was little, some freaky fucking dude who came into the house party and fucking molested him. It happened to Art Kelly. It happens to a lot of these fucking kids where their moms throw these banging parties and there's a million dudes in their house. I believe that happened, and it made him, and then that made him hook up with Clive Owen, and so easy to the Fanoik life, right?
Clive Davis.
I always say Clive Owen.
Well, I'll tell you what. Even if the first part didn't, I'm not saying that it didn't, or it's totally possible if there was those kind of parties he was around. So I'm not taking away from that. I'm just going to say that even if that did not happen, I totally believe that once he got into the business, those queers.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, so if it did happen when he was young, also, then it was just summer camp for when he got older.
Summer camp.
Yeah. Right. Because then he got older and it happened all over again. So he was well practiced, I guess. But I think that even if it didn't happen when he was younger, for certain, those guys you're talking about.
Yeah, then he sold out. All right. If it didn't happen when he was a kid, which I think it did, either then these Ricky old dudes offered him a life of luxury for his butt, and he gave it up. But if that's the case, why did he just give
100%.
up his rear end a few times, like these Tiggin characters, and not start doing all these other perversion stuff, right? Or did it make him such a degenerate pervert? Who knows, right? Either or. He's still.
That's right. So chicken or the egg, right? So it's like, were you affected by being buggered to the point where you were just like, fuck it, I'm going to take it out on other people? Or was it just like, hey, this is pretty all right. I can't, and if this is how they do it, then I'm going to do that shit too, right? But he also had some very, well, again, this could be picked up skill. He might have been videotaped and blackmailed and shit, right? So it's, I mean, he did that to a lot of people also. So maybe, again, he's just carrying on
very similar
tradition.
to the Epstein ring, right? Cameras everywhere.
It's the same end game, sure.
Same,
yeah, man.
People instead of
one's just political, one's in the entertainment, but it's the same exact game. Exactly. Yes, I agree with you.
One's political and one's entertainment, but they're both just like these CIA, Mossad, MI5 kind of things. They set up these alphabet agencies. Always
all money and power.
Always sexual blackmail, right? And once they what's more humiliating? Let's say some weird dude's got a fetish of being with like a midget or something creepy, right? And they videotape him. He's not going to want that out. So he's going to do any kind of pass any law, or if he's a music executive or a musician, he's going to play on anybody's record, do whatever you say.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Of course. Yeah, we've got pictures of you getting buggered, or we got pictures of you with that thing on your face or whatever. You know,
what if he loved his wife and made a mistake and banged some hooah one night, right?
Sure, and it wasn't
totally
even gay,
regret
right?
it, but he loves his wife so much and don't want her to find out that he's willing to do whatever they say so she don't find out, right?
Mm-hmm. Give up some royalties, whatever it might be.
Appear on music he wouldn't appear on otherwise. Right? Somebody who really loves their wife.
Go out on a boat with Cuba Gooding Jr.
Someone to give up their ass for that, but it's minor, right? But still, he'd give up something to protect his wife, right?
Well, Cuba Gooding Jr. is one of the people that was taken.
Yeah, he's ripping ass.
So that's why his name's all over it. And he's been convicted in state court and federal court of forcible.
Yeah, he was grabbing
and titties.
People's private parts
on the street.
Yeah, doing it on the streets, grabbing people.
He literally walked up to a woman on the fucking street and started.
And even if you're a celebrity,
it's like,
right? How the fuck do you think you're going to get away with groping women on the street? This ain't 1950 where someone would be like, hey, dude, don't do that, right? Like, you're getting arrested for that shit, as you should. Or you grab the wrong girl and you're going to get punched in the mouth. Somebody's sister, girlfriend, or whatever. But you just can't go groping people. You just can't do that. That's creepy. That's rapey.
Nope.
And it's gross.
Fuck yeah, bro. It's really fucked up. And it really fucks people up psychologically. That's the other part of it too. It's like, it's not just violent. It's fucked up it will fuck people up emotionally.
Is he one of them?
Is he one of them?
Cuba, is he part of this?
Man, I'm going to have to look that up because he's been brought into. I know he's involved in those civil cases. That's for sure. He's also mentioned in a couple of those the rappers that say that they were on Diddy's boats and this guy grabbed him by the butthole. Yeah. He was in a studio and Cuba Gooding Jr. was caressing him.
What's his name? Oh shit! I know what dude you're talking about. He's like a little Ricky Unish type like guy. I know you're talking about.
Yeah, and they were refusing to pay him and all this stuff. They got him to come down to the studio, and Cuba Gooding Jr. walked up behind him and literally grabbed him by the taint, bro, and was like rubbing his butthole. Yeah, and I don't give a fuck if you're gay or not. That's still, it doesn't matter if that person's gay. He didn't ask you to do that shit. He wasn't interested in you. You just took it upon yourself to walk up and do that shit. And Puffy was standing right behind him, just watching as his gross self.
Yeah, you can't just walk up and if you're some Finook, you can't just go walk up and grab another Finook.
Well, sure, because you'd equate it the same way as if it was a straight man and a straight woman, or other way, or even if it was a fucking older woman record label.
Wait, I take that back in a second. If you're in the Blue Oyster Bar, they don't mind that shit, right? But walking down the street.
Okay, yes. If you're standing at the bar with your ass sticking out at a homo bar, and yes, then you're advertising
down the street. Right? If you're some little Harvey Milk guy walking down the street and some big queen grabs your ass like Cuba Gooding Jr., you're probably going to call the cops or maybe swap a number or get mad. I don't know. It all depends.
Yeah, and that's why I say, man, if it's an older dude grabbing a younger dude, or if he was grabbing at a woman, you cannot fucking do that. If it's an older woman that was grabbing on a younger dude, you can't just walk up and ever so slightly caress somebody's taint. Like, what kind of disgusting weirdo shit is that?
Mandy
you know? You thought I was handsome. You couldn't put your hand on my arm. You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't fucking rub my back or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Like,
or ask my name or something like that. Crisco Disco, man. He says that's funny. What's up, Jennifer with no filter?
Yeah.
There's a lot of I wonder who else. The Usher dude, is he involved or no? I just think it's the sons, the managers, the people that helped him.
Yeah, the people that they're talking about that were supposed to have flipped and had agreed to testify, at least, were mostly members of the quote unquote enterprise. Yeah, like, so people that worked for him, did the IVs, that set up. One of them specifically that I remember flipped and is going to testify is one of the people that was in charge of getting the hotel rooms specifically, right? So they would get a phone call. They'd be told where they wanted to go. They'd be told like what kind of, like, if they wanted to stay in like a private rented mansion, or if they wanted to stay in a certain hotel, how many rooms they needed, what floor they wanted to be on, like all the details.
Sexual director.
And then that person. Yeah, well, yeah, it's funny you put it that way, because that leads us into the next part of their job, which is once they procured the residence or the hotel, then it was their job to fill it with all manner of gross sex toys, lube, liquor, drinks, water, and then drugs. You know, they were supposed to work with Diddy's people to make sure that all the ecstasy and the pink cocaine and the Xanax and all this, and then set up for the IV people. Yeah, it was
the IV job. People. Kevorkian comes in.
Yeah, I told you from the beginning that's the part that really kind of like.
Well, yeah, it's disgusting, right?
I mean, I laugh and about certain things and stuff, listen, but then you have to think about some poor girl.
If you're staying up for 2 days straight, like you said, you got these women and these men just fucking having orgies and giving you IV to just take part in this debauchery, Sodom and Gomorrah shit. That's fucking disgusting. Looking at other people fornicating,
and again,
fornicating in a room with other people and shit. That's like Caligula shit, man. That's
yeah. And if you're a prostitute or a prostitute, they are literally keeping you there against your will. That's what I'm saying. At that point, when you hear about the RVs, the IVs rather, you start thinking about these people. They're fucking dehydrated. They're tired. They've been made to perform against their normal will or their normal length of performing. You've got them drugged, and now you're going to give them electrolytes to keep their stamina up and keep them from being dehydrated. And then you're going to make them continue to where you're still not going to let them go. Bro, this is some Indiana Jones.
He's going to be like, open the gimp suit. I'm going to give you some Gatorade, right? Undo your mouth,
right?
Gimp.
There you go. Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Juice box. Yeah. He's got them drinking out of the little fucking Capri Suns and shit. He's a Capri Sun.
Dude. Exactly.
Yeah,
sippy town, sippy.
He's a sick fuck.
Yeah, so the IV thing actually kind of starts to piss me off, but just thinking about those poor people. And again, you have to laugh, too, to a certain extent when you say those poor people. It's like, but yeah, bro, but just because they were fucking, and it's kind of funny to say, haha, they were fucking. But dude, imagine having to do the same push-ups and sit-ups or squats for 2 days while somebody had in the corner had a gun in the door.
Well, yeah, listen, I don't agree with
the same thing, bro. You're having to perform. That's a physical thing that you're doing. And goddamn, the woman is having things inside them the whole time.
Yeah.
Like a whole
people will look down on them because they're prostitutes. But listen, if they want to do that, that's their body. I disagree with it, but that's their body. But you can't force them to stay there and put IVs in their arm. And if they want to go home with the money they made, let them go home. You know, you're holding them hostage.
Yep. You imagine, yeah, again, equate it to anything else you want, bro. Anything else you want. You got hired like as a mariachi, and all of a sudden you're locked in a room with a bunch of freaks that are doing drugs, and like, you can't leave. There's people, again, every time you try to stop playing guitar, somebody hits you or pumps you full of drugs, right?
Yeah, you're just playing terrible. A piano, and fucking every time you stop, they crack you in the head. What's up, Grump? That was
and Diddy is ever so slightly straddled across there. Just oh, keep playing, G. Keep playing, Daddy. You know I love it when you play like that,
play that guitar like that, Daddy. Meek Mills, all of his fucking street cred went right out the window. He's a little fuckboy now. They're wearing little pajama matching fucking onesies and shit. They look like fucking toddlers at a sleepover. Yeah, then he's in the he's weird. In the, what is he in the fucking tub of the fucking pool? And there's another man. If any man ever said, "Yay, daddy, call me daddy," I'd fucking like, what are you, a fucking retard? What are you, a fanoik? Get away from me.
Who talks like that? That seems to be it's not just a new thing from anybody. It's like that's the collective statement of the citizenry, which is who the fuck calls another man daddy? I think everybody said the same thing. Like, what?
I've never heard any person call another man.
Yeah, even Charlemagne on the Breakfast Club. That's one of my favorite clips when he plays that shit back for Diddy. He's like, "Oh wait, hold on, wait, no, you're telling me you don't remember saying this? Well, I'm gonna play it for you right now in your dumbass face, right?" And Diddy's like, "All right, yeah, man, go ahead." And then he's like, "I don't understand. What am I saying?" And then Charlemagne's like, "No, motherfucker, you said I like it when you do it like that, Daddy. I like it when you down there scrimping and
he was
like
drunk.
that, Daddy." And
he was drunk and high, and they let that Ricky Yoon stuff slip, right? Because they let that shit slip. And they show their ass.
Your inhibitions. That's right. It's your inhibitions, bro. Yep. You become uninhibited when you fucking start drinking and doing drugs and. You start doing things and saying things.
Remember that guy, Fabulous, the way he was looking at him when he was talking like that?
Yeah, and I remember it was that the same one where he was like, you gotta really party. Yes. Was that the same time? Okay, that's what I thought. They were sitting across the table. He's like, "Well, how come we didn't party for your birthday?" Like, what are you talking about, man? You was at the party. He's like, "No, but I mean like really the party."
Dude, he was looking at him like, I gotta get away from this fucking dude.
It's like, where's the fire extinguisher? Somebody hit this motherfucker with a fire extinguisher. Spray him until he gets out of here. Spray him like a cat with the fire extinguisher.
Yeah, he'll be in PC, and he'll have all boyfriends. And so, see, when men go to prison, sex life is over, right? There's no women ever again. But for Ricky Yoons or down low fucking homeboys and down low men in general, prison's no problem to them. Look at little Jay. He's got transmission sitting on his lap. They don't care because they go to PC, especially people with big names like P Diddy. He's going to go to PC and have a bunch of lady boys.
He's going to work in the barber shop, so he's on all the
gossip. He'll be treated like a god.
With all those little fucking not tied girlfriends like Harambe, the Kool-Aid.
And then you know what they do? Like they usually get the gang dropout members to be their muscle, right? And then they got all their little girls, hold their lady boys, and they usually have the ex-gang members, all the dropout rats, become their like homies in there and fucking is there protection? That shit.
There you go. Who are you going to depend on when the shit goes down? Oh, those guys that ratted and flipped on their friends.
Good luck, Rat Squad.
Yeah, good luck with that, dude. Why don't you see if they got some crypto to sell you?
When something's bad and you're gonna be new.
Yeah, MRH says Diddy's going to get what he deserves in prison. What goes around comes around. I think he's going to be fine.
Yeah, if he was put in Gen Pop, MRH, you'd be right. But he's not going to be in Gen Pop. He's going to be in Gene Borello, PC wards.
And on top of that, I don't even think that they'll probably put him in a federal camp. I don't think they'll put him in like a penitentiary or anything like that. I think they'll put him in one of those federal camps where he'll be around a bunch of fucking accountants and money launderers and shit. That's where they sent Martha Stewart too.
He'll be in a PC though. Wherever he's at, and you're right, he'll be in some camp. But he's going to be in a PC with all transmissions and
for sure. Yes, for sure. He will absolutely be in protective custody. I'm just adding to that it won't even be at a hard prison. That's all.
No, of course not.
It'll also be at a camp, more than likely, especially with the donations and stuff that guy will probably make. Because they're going to take most of his money, but don't think for a second this dude hasn't hidden plenty.
Oh, of course. And you don't think he still has friends and, and
here's the thing. I remind people all the time, a lot of people that don't work in or haven't worked around entertainment or maybe even understand corporate structure. Maybe they don't understand that a lot of times the reason you see these people that own multinational corporations or they're involved in music or whatnot, the reason you see them travel to all these weird far-flung places and it seems like, oh, they're just kind of jet setting, taking vacations. It's like, no, bro. That they have to go there to spend the money that they made there. You understand? Like if you try and bring that money into the United States, it gets taxed the holy fucking shit out of after it's already been taxed in the country that you made it in. So you're better off going there and just spending the money. It's why you might have a house in some place nobody's ever heard of. It's like, well, my song sold a bunch of copies. I got a bunch of royalties. My accountant said, don't bring it to America. So 2 months out of the year, we go stay in wherever the fuck, right? And we spend money while we're there. So what I'm saying is that dude's got accounts full of money that he didn't even have to hide or move. It's shit that America's just not going to get anyway. He's got money places.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they would have a field day with him and Gen Pop. Cranky, exactly.
Oh, forget about it, bro. He'd be out there singing and dancing, bro. They'd have him literally doing like songs that they've heard on the radio. They would make him do
it. Yeah, he would.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the
yard. Yeah. It's they're doing the jury selection. That's going to be very hard though to pick that jury. And like I said, there's been so many other famous cases where people try to sneak on juries so hardcore, man. So hardcore. So, I don't know.
Well, we'll see, man. Like I said, some of these people have been being honest about whether or not they think they can be impartial, number one. Two, they expect the trial to start the first opening arguments to start next Monday, and they expect the trial to go 2 months. And a lot of these people that they've talked to, and again, it's only the second day, but that's why we're starting with a pool of 600 people. Because a lot of these people, even if they're like quote unquote legally have to, they've got children at home. Some of these are single parents. Some of these people have jobs that will not give them 2 months off and pay them. Like it's literally impossible. And some people say, yeah, but the government gives you some money, but it's not enough. And if you can prove it's not enough, they can't.
I remember a few years ago, an ex-girlfriend of mine they wanted her to jury duty and all that shit. And she purposely answered questions wrong so they wouldn't pick her because she couldn't take time out of work.
Right.
So yeah, mad people don't want to.
I mean, man, I could tell you a couple of funny stories. I'm not gonna while we're live, but nobody in my immediate family, they would never send us paperwork to be on a jury duty. To do jury duty, I would laugh my fucking ass off. Bro, I'm telling you, when we're not live, I'll tell you a couple of funny stories. But one of them I can say, which is they did fuck up.
I care what you always say on here, because remember.
Oh yeah, no, it's fine. They
did fuck up. Always remember, there's about 15 people listening just for you alone, just to find out who you are. Never give Always throw sideways hints like we talked about in Florida. Don't talk about Florida too much right now.
What?
Tallahassee, remember? Forgot about it.
Oh, okay. No, I was just saying that they accidentally did send somebody that I'm close to. Not accidentally, they did it on purpose, but once they showed up, they were immediately dismissed. It was just very funny. That's all I was going to say. They sent them the paperwork, but when they showed up to do the questionnaire, they literally were like, oh, no, we're good. You have a great day.
Yeah, no, we don't need you.
Yep.
What's up, Ruben? Uncle Edwin, congratulations. A little cousin baby Edwin born. Must be very proud, namesake. Yeah, Mr. Combs is in a lot. I'm surprised they haven't that woman must be pissed, man, who was shot in the face in that nightclub. I've been following.
He's just not connected to this enterprise and this set of charges, so I don't think that they're including it. You know what I mean? I think they're going to be a separate case.
You think that's going to be a separate case?
I honestly don't know because I haven't heard anything about it at all.
I think it's pretty unfair. What the hell? You got a woman saying he shot me in the face. I seen him do it. When I was having surgery, the doctors heard me yelling his name. My story's never changed.
Yeah, no, but I always agree with you on that. Every single time I've seen her story's always been exactly the same. Yep. Every single time. And she doesn't mince words about it either, which I always find funny. You know,
yeah.
Look, that motherfucker shot me in my face.
Yeah, she's a character, man.
I looked him right in the eye, him and his bitch ass hoe. Yeah. And she's the one that brought him the gun. Yeah.
Yeah, she hates J-Lo.
Yeah, I would too. And J-Lo again should absolutely be up there, have to testify because she was around for freak offs, man. She was around for freak offs. She knows what time it is.
That's where I meant into. And that's what I meant by these celebrities paying off these politicians and judges so they don't have to, like J-Lo's and the Afflecks or the Kushners.
Affleck left her fucking ass.
Well, not Affleck. The Kushners, they don't have to all testify and nothing like that.
Yeah.
That pisses me off.
Yep. Affleck fucking left J-Lo, though. He was like, fuck that bitch.
I don't blame him. He's not a cuck. He's not a simp.
Yeah.
Imagine
Ashton Kutcher's wife wouldn't even talk to him, bro. She almost left his ass, too. She was remember I told you they saw him alone forever, and they kept seeing her alone at the park with the kids, and like he wasn't ever allowed around the kids and shit. Yeah, bro, she saw some tapes. Forget about it.
Yeah, she should have left the degenerate. And I'm glad he left her, right? If this is the woman that you think you know her, right? And then you see her performing all this filth and drugging people, helping this animal dude. It's like, wait, do I don't even know you? No, I don't want to be with someone.
For sure, because remember, that was during the phase. Go ahead.
If you're capable of that, right? I don't want to be with you, lady. Like, fuck.
Well, yeah, you're going to have that in your thoughts all the time. Yeah, for sure. But remember, that was during the phase when after they served the warrants, right, on the houses, and they went through and they searched, they found all those cameras. They found about 800 sex toys. They found all those thousands of bottles of lube.
Well, what's up, Bella?
But they found all those cameras and they took all the electronic devices. Well, they found mad videos. And remember, we talked about it. They had to go and contact all of the quote unquote victims. And the reason I say quote unquote is because these people were at these parties doing foul shit of their own accord, but they did not know they were being recorded.
Yeah.
So they were a victim of that crime. And the FBI had to go to all these celebrities' houses, including Ashton Kutcher and his wife, including J-Lo and Ben Affleck. They had to sit them down in a living room or a kitchen or whatever the fuck they did. And they were like, hey, here's the fucking tape. That's you. Getting buggered by Carl Winslow.
Oh, my God. Ben must have said, you dirty hoe.
He left her ass, so whatever he saw was foul.
One thing I despise are these weak beta fucking simps, right? Let their woman shit all over him and take him back. And a woman shouldn't fucking let a man do that to her neither. If a man is constantly dishonoring his woman, she should fucking leave him.
Yeah. That Carl Winslow shit's fucked up though.
That's Carl Winslow. Family Matters, Urkel, man.
Yeah, that fucked me up. We watch that shit every Friday. TGIF. Come on now. He was the good dad. And
he didn't talk dirty. He didn't talk like a pervert. Like what the fuck? And then it comes out.
No, that show taught values instead. That was one of the shows that taught like family values and moral, and making the right decision and having a moral compass and stuff. For sure. Yeah. Meanwhile, back at Diddy's pool house.
I mean, right? Just like Mike Brady, man. Mike Brady was a massive Rickyune. He used to go to glory holes and all that fucking Rickyune shit. That's why he died of HIV.
See, that's never even made sense. Wouldn't you be scared somebody's gonna bite it off or cut it off with a fucking saw? I'd be terrified to put my fucking piece through some random hole. I'd be like, dude, there could be any manner of weird psycho killer, freaky deaky fucking dick chopper offer on the other side of that fucking wall. What if it was some evangelical that Jesus told to take the pricks of homos, bro? They're out there.
It could be a dude. About it. It could be anything. Anybody.
Dude, it's always a dude. That's what those glory holes are, dude. No. The only time a girl is on the other side of a glory hole is in a porno
she's getting
film.
Paid.
Girls don't go to dirty shit-smelling gas stations and go in the men's bathroom and sit behind a hole for a random, dirty, sweaty, fucking vinegary cock to pop through the hole.
It's
definitely not. It's a fucking a back and forth disease exchange.
But some of these Liberace did. He used to go to all the Hollywood fucking pervert stores in glory.
Yeah, George Michael was the glory hole guy, though. First, hit the bathroom version. That's where he was always caught. Was in these fucking public bathrooms trying to give people blowjobs.
They know they're gonna go. They probably think, oh, if I get caught, especially back then, they could just pay people off or even pay a magazine off. Nowadays, it's different, right? Like your accuser back then, you would need to go to a magazine to out you. Now they can just go live, right?
Oh, yeah, they just take your picture. Yeah, bro. Definitely. They'll go live and be like, yo, John Travolta's trying to give me an old-fashioned in the fucking gym.
Fucking Staying Alive was trying to stay alive in my ass for hours. He's a psycho perv. He was another bit. That beautiful Kelly Preston was his beard. He was a fucking 100% Rickyune. He had all kinds of phenolic lovers and shit.
Dude, yeah, Elizabeth Hurley is another good example of that. She's gorgeous, bro. She was gorgeous, and her fucking British old man went to a trans dude and got caught. You stupid.
Imagine that.
You are a special kind of fucking stupid. That woman is gorgeous, and she's not a whore, and she's not gross.
When you go prime rib at home, you don't go eat a hamburger off the ground from McDonald's.
Off the bathroom floor.
Off the bathroom floor.
You definitely don't fucking go and eat a trans hamburger off the
that's for sure.
Like, motherfucker, you got a gay cow. Yeah. What the fuck's up with that?
You ate a gay burger. That's a real happy meal. Happy. But it's happy.
Fucking happy meal. It's a gay meal.
So they probably
That's right.
We had happy meal. But no, seriously, you got a beautiful wife like that. There should be no reason for you to cheat on. Number one, anybody who marries a woman, you must think she's beautiful anyways, right? So what's the point? There's really no reason.
Yes. It just helps when she's
it just helps when she's
and brings home millions of dollars because she's mad famous and she's classy about it, right? She's again not one of these crazy I do cocaine off the fucking floor, No, she's a classy chick.
Well, it's like,
you fucked up.
Yeah, any pretty, what is she, from England or something?
Yeah,
England or whatever. Yeah. He's insane to cheat on her. She was a very pretty lady.
Yep. Yeah, Foolish Flocks reminding us about how Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy's transgender, let's call it Transformer story, is one of the funniest stories. It is a total lie, and I love Eddie Murphy. I think he's hilarious.
We watched it together on a Skullbro show back a while back.
We're gonna watch it in the future too.
We should do it.
It's hilarious, and I love Eddie Murphy's movies, his comedy, even one of his songs was pretty okay. But he 100% loves ladyboys. Yeah. His story made and he actually had people sued for that thing to get scrubbed off the internet for them not to play it.
And then he just did a huge string of like family movies and stuff like that to try and get his reputation.
And there was always rumors, even besides that, there was rumors about him being a flower.
He couldn't escape that one, bro. That cop is what was killing me when we watched the video. The cop was like, "Listen here, okay."
I know it was funny. Like,
well-known area.
Yeah, Eddie always made fun of the flowers in Phoenix, but he was like one of those try guys. I call them all Phoenix, really, but yeah, he liked his lady boys. He knew what that was. He knew who he was dealing with.
Yeah, that cop said that's a he didn't even say for prostitution. He said that was a well-known area for gay prostitution and transsexuals.
Yeah, but his excuse was
that cop said. We'll watch it again in the future, but I remember that she was like, that was a well-known, and it was like 3 a.m. and he's by himself, famous as fuck.
Real quick before we get back to Diddy, his excuse was, I was driving by and I seen a fan and they were talking to me, and I always like talking to my fans. It's like, bullshit. What actor drives down the street and stops and talks to his fans? And then
and you're trying to convince us that you thought that was a woman after we saw that picture.
Wait, let me finish. Now. Not only did he talk to the fan, he offered the fan a ride. Okay, bullshit.
Yeah,
bullshit. He was picking up lady boys, and Diddy loves. I don't know if he likes lady boys. I think he likes straight men. He
likes straight up men, from what I can tell. Yeah,
he likes turning masculine men into friggin' into fucking Fanooks, into Ricky Hunes.
Yeah, or again, like he watches them do things that are straight, but he sits there and fucking masturbates over.
Yes, and then he
and again, let's throw out the fact that we have, which makes it disgusting, but it's important. He made his people go and find the people with the biggest pieces that they could find.
Yeah,
all the gay prostitutes that are not gay, all the prostitutes that he hired. Some of them he made have sex with women. We have to be fair. Where fair is fair.
Oh yeah.
But he always said that he made the people go and find prostitutes with the biggest.
That is the weirdest thing
pieces ever, because that's what he wanted to see. Yeah.
Watching a man and a woman have sex is not a turn on. That's like, get me out of the room. This is gross. Never mind a girlfriend or your wife. Forget about it. That would never happen. I would leave her in a heartbeat.
Imagine that sitting on the couch. It's sitting on the couch and somebody, like, there's people humping and like they look over and you make eye contact. It's like, oh Jesus Christ. Forever unclean. Forever unclean. And then you just look at him like, what the fuck you want? You want me to tell you you're doing a good job, right? Like you want a cigarette? I got a cigarette. You want a cigarette?
We know people growing up. You know, there's some people who like tag teaming women and shit. I'm not into that. I think it's gross.
Bro. No, we heard one time. We heard about some people that we weren't even friends with, but we heard that they ran a train.
I got friends
at a party. And we told them we were just like, you guys are fucking gay as fuck for that. That shit is nasty.
I got friends fucking back in the day who fucking would mess around with the same chick in the same day and shit like that and all that stuff. It's gross, but people do it, man. It just happens. Disgusting.
Yeah, I know people do it, but like I said, we told them dudes they were all gay. Man, I still remember one of my friends. He was like, "Man, that means y'all dick touch."
Oh yeah, if you're in the room, touch at the same time. That's weird, right?
No, he's just like, it don't matter. He's a friend of mine. He was fucking
thinking about people,
Indian and black, like American Indian and black,
but in the room with each other. Yeah, that's super gay.
Like, that's what he goes, if you did it right after him, that's what he said. He goes, if you did it right after him, he's like, it's the same thing as if you kissed her and then you kissed. He's like, bro, you just kissed him as far. He's like, y'all dick touching. That's what he told him.
Yeah.
I remember, I'm laughing now like I was laughing then. We were in high school. That shit was funny. Y'all dick touching. Y'all nasty.
That's not for me. I would think a real gross. I wouldn't want to sleep with any woman who just slept with somebody. Like, that's gross. Like, I don't want to touch you right now. You know? Yeah, go use weird. A power washer, lady. Get a life. But now this is the girl he beat right here. This is the one who's gonna take the stand and bury him if she.
Well, this is J-Lo. This picture is of J-Lo.
Is that J-Lo or the Cassidy?
That's not Cassie. That's not Cassie. But Cassie is set to testify. She is one of the main people that's testifying in his trial.
That's Cassie, man.
It looks exactly like J-Lo.
That's not J-Lo. Watch. Yeah.
Well, then they look a lot
in that position. Yes, she does resemble her. The way her face is and the hair pulled back.
Okay, I'll take your word for it then. All right.
I could be wrong, but I'd bet.
No, I mean, like I said, it looks like her. But let's. Hopefully this will play fine. Let me know if it's...
Is advised here as jury selection is set to begin tomorrow in the sex trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs, with testimony slated to start the following week. The music mogul faces an indictment that includes descriptions of quote-unquote freak-offs described as alleged drugged-up orgies where women were forced to have sex with men while Diddy filmed them. Prosecutors say witnesses have come forward accusing the entertainer of terrorizing people into silence by choking, hitting, kicking, and dragging them, often by the hair, even dangling someone from a balcony at one point. The defense arguing it was consensual sexual activity, while Diddy does acknowledge one episode of violence, the caught-on-camera beating of his former girlfriend, singer Cassie. Again, viewer discretion.
See, and that's what I'm saying. They need to be careful about how they group her and that video of that happening into like the supposed kidnapping and coercion and beating and hanging off balconies of women that were like prostitutes or forced into actual sex parties. Because that beating in that video, yes, it was an abduction. Yes, it was like a kidnapping and a beating for sure, but it was his girlfriend. It wasn't to bring her back to a giant sex party and make her perform. It was to just make her stay.
Wait to the other women's stories of he held me and shit like that, because he is.
Yeah, that he did it. Sure, yeah, I'm just as far as the context of the charges go.
Yeah,
they need to
always
be careful
playing devil's advocate.
Because it could also, be bad. Like I said earlier, if they ask her specifically, does it relate to this enterprise? Does it relate to, these charges? And she goes, no, but he does beat women and make them do things. Then you're, you're doing better, but you still might kind of lose a little ground. Yeah, like I said, it's not the end of the world, but it just seems like they should be careful a little bit with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Advised here as we discuss this further, I do want to bring in Nima Rahmani, former federal prosecutor and current president here of West Coast Trial Lawyers. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us.
Thanks for having me, Josh. Always great to be on.
Of course. And first off, I do want to ask you, can you break down the charges that Diddy does face and really what the prosecution here has to prove?
Josh, there are three sets of charges. The least serious are the prostitution charges, and everyone knows what that is. That's the exchange of sex for something of value, usually money, and there has to be an interstate component. And here, some of these women were crossing state lines. Then we have the sex trafficking charges, and what's sex trafficking from consensual sex, and we know that adults can consent to sex, no matter how freaky it is one of three things: force, fraud, or coercion. And in this particular case, the government is alleging force and coercion. Force speaks for itself. Diddy himself, his security, all the weapons that were confiscated. And then that coercion, that's that drug element. The victims here are alleging that forced to participate in these freak-offs, these orgies, over the course of days. Then you have the racketeering charge. And when you think of racketeering, usually you think of the mob, right? The cartel, some street gang. But racketeering is really any criminal enterprise, and that can be a loose association of two or more people that commit two or more racketeering acts. And here, the enterprise is Diddy and his entourage, similar to R. Kelly's entourage, for instance. And the RICO predicate acts are the sex trafficking, the violence, the forced labor. So those are generally the three sets of charges that comprise this indictment.
Yeah, that shit's crazy, man.
Yeah,
he's not in good shape.
It doesn't seem it.
The coercion, meaning the drugging, and you've got all these people that have signed.
And is that guy
affidavits of giving?
Is that guy testifying against him? That white dude who was helping him procure fucking drugs and shit.
I don't know. That's an interesting question. I think we're going to find out at the same time as the trial unfolds, or when they actually do announce who their witnesses are going to be, because he was arrested. He did flip and sign agreement. So I would assume that he's going to testify about the drug part. I would assume it's probably a big part of the prosecution. Because the coercion is the drugging, right? Coercion is a predicate act of the RICO. So that seems like that should go hand in hand and make sense. Yeah, I mean, it seems like he. If I had to put $1 on it, I would bet that he's going to.
Yeah,
because he made a deal. If the government made a deal with him, they're obviously going to want to use it.
Why aren't they mentioning the happy stuff? Because they don't. Because these news stations are all shape-shifting idiots.
Yeah, they're gonna have to be. They don't want him to be tried for being.
Yeah, they don't
gay.
want to make it like because he could get off that way, maybe too. They're thinking, right? They're persecuting but he's too. He would never admit to being happy.
No,
he would never.
The first time it happened, when it first started coming out, and he had that breakdown, and he made that cooning and buffooning video. That was one of the funniest things that I've seen.
Which one was? I don't. Which video?
He breaks down, bro. He gets on and goes live or records a video and puts it up. Either way, but it was like everybody was calling him gay, and like the first reports of him liking penis and being with like these people and getting his dick sucked in that record company that he worked for. All these reports came out at the same time. It was like right in the beginning. This was years ago. And he made a video, whether it was live or not. He jumped on and he's like holding his cell phone out in front of him and looking up at it. And he's like walking around one of his properties and he's like losing his mind. He's like having a nervous fucking breakdown. And he's like, man, all y'all are cooning and buffooning. You're all cooning and buffooning. And that's like what the video was known for. Everybody called it the cooning and buffooning video. But he's like, y'all are fucking crazy. I'm not gay. And like he started crying and losing it. It was wild.
They're just blaming everybody else. Right. For his own actions, not taking no responsibility.
Well, definitely not taking any responsibility. Yeah. And basically just, telling everybody they're stupid for even bringing it up. Like it's, how dare you even bring that? Y'all are fucking dumb. You're trying to ruin my life for no reason. Why would you do that? It's like, well, because you like the taste of penis, dude. Number one. And we've seen you kiss multiple fucking men. There's mad reports out that you've touched them and like to watch them do things with other people, bro. That's not normal. If you actually get off on watching another man perform, you're fucking gay, dude.
And Brad, what do you say to that girl when she caught him getting oral from somebody? He goes, how powerful do you think I am if I can make a straight guy give me fellatio?
Well, first of all, that's universally impossible. You can't make a straight guy give you fellatio.
Well, in case you rape him, tie him up.
Yeah, sure, right, okay, yeah. I mean,
well, that's not given that be rape. So technically, no, you're right. You can't make somebody do that in case they sell their soul, right? But then you are a finoik when you do that.
Right, that's what I'm saying. The moment you decide to fucking open up and say then that ship sailed, buddy.
Yeah, you're not straight no more.
No.
Just like you telling somebody you're not a gangster no more, right? Like,
yeah,
same thing.
Yeah, the moment you fucking snitch and rat and shit, you are no longer a gangster, bro. And I got news for you, ain't a gangster anymore either. The moment you open it and say, that shit all goes away.
Yeah.
Yep. No way, man.
So if you sell out for money or fame and you let these guys do Ricky stuff to you, you know, and maybe that's what's torturing Bieber right now, right? Like, come on, life shouldn't be good for him. The money he had, he should put on music. He's got this beautiful wife who's religious. She had her party days, and she's a good girl now. Like, what's so bad? So what's so bad is these guys fucking molested the dude and shit, and he sold his soul, sadly.
Yeah, he's got skeletons in that closet he steps in and out of from time to time.
Oh, and it's eating him alive.
Yeah. Well, plus remember, dude, because that stuff with Jaden Smith, bro. Come on.
Yeah, that's weird, man.
That is. I don't give a fuck. Nobody's gonna ever. I will have this argument until I die.
He's got to.
Those motherfuckers were intimate.
Of course they were. There's no man. You could have your closest friend in the world. There's no way. I got a lot of close friends, right? There's no way I'm ever kissing my friend or hugging them like that.
Putting your hands in his pockets, bro.
We're Italian. This time we kiss each other in the cheek, right? We're wops. But there's no way any kind of that phonetic shit. I lose a friend if they ever did that weird shit. Like, what are you, a fucking Ricky Yoon? Get away from me. Someone try to touch your ass.
I'd slap them and be like, "What, are you drunk?" Right? I'd slap them and ask if they were drunk.
Oh yeah, beat their ass in a minute. Someone tried to put their arm on you.
Fucking drunk, bro. You better back the fuck up.
I can never picture anyone I know trying to come up to me and hug me and touch my hips. That's so fucking stupid.
Stand behind you with their hands in your back pockets and in your front pockets, and you wrap their arms around you and you nuzzle into their neck. Holy fuck! They're intimate. It's intimate, the way that they're acting towards each other.
Normal dudes don't do that. I don't care where you're from.
No. Nope.
Normal men don't act like that. Right?
Not unless you've been diddied.
Yeah, no, you want to be a Diddy. Right. What's up, Sybil? Aegon, how's it going, man?
This shit's crazy. Let's skip through a little bit more of this because this is like a bunch of the info about the trial and stuff.
Yeah.
One thing I want to pop up here on your screen, it's a video that has been seen time and over the internet. How might this hotel video showing Diddy assaulting Cassie affect the jury? He has admitted that, this is something that did happen. It's caught on video. So how could it impact the jury overall?
Josh, this video is highly impactful because video doesn't lie. We can all see with our own eyes Diddy beating Cassie Ventura at the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles. And let me just tell you how powerful this video is. Even after Cassie filed her lawsuit in November 2023 and Diddy settled it the next, even after his homes in Los Angeles and Miami were raided in March of last year, Diddy continued to deny the allegations. Only in May of last year, when CNN got a copy of this video and released it, did Diddy finally issue some sort of apology. I think the video is going to be the best evidence in this case. And if you believe Cassie Ventura, and I do, Diddy taped many of these freak-offs, both for his own sexual pleasure and maybe to maintain control over events. And to the extent that those videos are played, I think it's going to be very damning evidence for the defense.
And I have to ask, when you...
And they have footage. I can't wait to hear what footage they play at trial. I hope they release it and tell people about it.
Oh,
They have hours and hours and hours of footage at different locations of these weird freak
well, if
offs.
you think it's going to be a 2-month trial, so I'm sure there's going to be a lot of footage played. There might be careers broken through this, right? It's possible. Some people
Yeah, and that security tape we're watching, he paid $100,000. Remember, he paid the hotel manager $100,000.
All right, what about this?
To give him the...
Yeah, $100,000. Do you think that's why that Bieber kid is all messed up because he knows what's coming?
I don't know, man. I think if you really want to know my honest opinion right now, I think that these demons stay in his closet, and I think that most of the internet collectively, dude, there's been thousands of videos made about Justin got buggered. Justin's breaking down. Justin got Diddified. Diddy got Justin. Usher got Justin, right? There's like thousands of these videos on the internet ever since this stuff happened to Diddy. And I think it just is fucking, I think that's what's really killing him, which is like the world opinion.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, that. But when it comes to this Cassie thing, that videotape right there speaks volumes to a jury, man.
Yeah, that he has it in him to do that shit. Yeah, absolutely.
He's barbarically beating her right there. That's a
ran after her so fast he didn't even bother to get dressed.
No, not at all. And look how he's treating her on the ground like that. Who does that?
Yeah, throwing things at her head.
Yeah, that's fucking
throwing brutal blows at her, and they didn't even show the part where like she's knocked down and kicked a couple times and then drug off by the hair.
Yeah, that's twisted, dude. What's up, big brother Tim? Yeah, that's some twisted stuff right there. And they're gonna see that, and you know, everybody has a mother. Not everybody has a sister, but everybody has a mom or a favorite niece or a fucking sister or cousin, one of them jurors. And you don't think that they're going to be like, this dirty bastard. I can picture him doing that to my little Susie or Karen or Sherry, I don't know, or Taniqua or fucking Rosita. And they're going to fucking bury him, right?
Yeah.
I think they're going to bury him. As he deserves.
I really do too.
Right? Like,
yeah, bro. Again, right? So we have this list of charges, man. It's like I'd be lying if I said like I gave a fuck much about the arson. I'd be lying if I told you like I was really gave a fuck about some of these assaults that are talking about, that it sounded like were genuine beefs he had with people around here and there. They're just trying to lump it into this. Yeah. But if one of those sex trafficking things is true, if one of these drugging people, keeping them against their will, filming it like a weirdo so you could hang out and use it over them and masturbate when you feel like, if one of those things is true, I would this motherfucker needs to get locked down and stay there and never get out.
One's too many. Something like that.
Yeah.
Taking somebody against their will and sexually harming them, feeding them drugs, taking advantage of them. One's too many.
Yep. Again, to the point where you're having to have a team of IV fluid people come in. It's just,
and that's what they're probably going to get them on the RICO, right? Because this is a whole organization to supply these doctors, supply the fluid, supply the drugs, the rides home for them all, taking them to these sick perverted joints.
That's right, dude. The people that provide the transportation, the people that set up the hotel rooms and stock them, and every one of them. Yep,
they're all flipping though on P Did's, the Puffy Diddler Combs.
Yeah, the ones that I definitely remember reading were, and you brought up the drug guy. He flipped, the guy that was in charge of like bringing his drugs places, and he got arrested literally getting on an airplane to go meet.
Yeah, Malibu's Most Wanted.
Yeah, to go and beat P Diddy, and he had the fucking dope on him. You know what I mean? So he got caught with that shit. So he made a deal. And then the other guy that I read, I remember specifically made a deal, was the guy that booked the hotels or the residences and then stocked them with like the lube and the sex toys and set up the transportation and made sure that everything was in order with the drugs and the IVs and shit. So that's a damning witness right there.
Yeah, it is. All of them are pretty damn, but that's a real damn. What about the woman, his Ghislaine Maxwell, the white chick, who's Diddy's assistant? She's like his number one almost.
I don't know, but it's funny you mentioned the Maxwell chick, because the person that represented her as a lawyer is on Diddy's lawyer team.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a woman that was arrested too, you know, who they like call as like, she's not that famous though, talked about, but they call her Diddy's Maxwell, where she was his personal assistant, and she arranged a lot of his shit.
She's the bottom bitch.
Maybe
gotcha. Yeah, I don't know anything about her. I haven't heard anything about her at all. That's weird.
Maybe she's testifying against him too.
That would explain why we haven't heard in gag orders since the bail hearing.
Yeah, same with the white dude.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's a fair point. Right. We haven't heard anything about any of these dudes since this stuff, or these people since this stuff happened. It's been months. Yeah, it's been months since this stuff all went down, and they put a gag order on everybody.
And they said many people are telling on them.
Yeah, at least a couple of them have been, and I'm looking to see who some of these other people. I'm very interested to see who's going to end up hitting that stand. I know everybody is now. I'm very interested to see who's going to end up on the witness stand, because there's going to be a few people that are going to be celebrities, and it's going to be interesting what these people say.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, see what they say about things that they may or may not have witnessed, and we'll see if they throw Diddy under the fucking bus or if they try and help him out. These people have to be careful, man. If you're famous, if you've got a big brand, go ahead.
He could make a comeback or something, or his fucking kids can get vengeance on them somehow if they become popular. Who knows? Or his friends.
Yeah, or I'm just saying, like, if you have a big brand, depending on who you are, if you go in there and you try and like help Diddy or stick up for Diddy, you could get crucified online, at least by certain groups. So you get everybody that's out there that's famous is going to have to be real careful. They're walking a line.
Well, they all want him done because they didn't stick up for him. He's going to want revenge on a lot of these fucking former
Yeah, well, I hope that's the way it goes. Yeah, I obviously hope that's the way that it goes, that they do what they're supposed to do.
He's going to want some vengeance against all these fuckers who didn't come out in his mind and stick up for him. His mother said it. Hey, come on, stick up for my baby. He's going to hate them all. They're all praying for his downfall. They're hoping he gets killed or kills himself, honestly. But they want to see him destroyed.
I don't think Diddy. I mean, I don't think he could clip himself. I think he's too vain and arrogant.
No, I don't think he won't either.
You know, it's not. Obviously, it's not that I don't think he could do it. Like I said, I think he's too vain and arrogant to ever do it.
No, he won't. He can live. Listen, he's not like a regular guy. He can go to jail and still have sex as an option. Regular men don't. So he can give. He don't care if he goes to jail, right? He's got a lady boy there, someone he can mess with.
He'll find plenty of the biggest. He'll find all the big ones that he wants in there, won't he? If he's always on the lookout for big ones, he'll find them all the ones he wants in there.
Yeah, he's got money anyways. He'll always have money. Like P Diddy being broke is like us having money, right? He's got money. Like, always have money, have ways to make money, phone calls, podcasts to go on from prison. You can make a couple of G's doing that. So he'll always make money. And he has money in the Cayman Islands and all that shit anyways.
Yeah, he'll definitely have money in other territories. There's just never ever getting away from that.
Yeah. Especially if he don't give up none of them old Fanoiks. Right? LaClive Davis creeps and his like other pervy friends.
Oh, if he gets found guilty, that's all gonna go in a book. He will so fucking. It'll basically be called The Story of Puff Daddy. Show me on the doll where he touched you. Yeah, he's gonna fucking crucify all those people, bro. If he gets found guilty, he is so gonna write a tell-all about all them old Jews that buggered him and taught him to suck penis.
Oh yeah, all those old executives had their ways with him.
Yeah, well, that's just, most of them really were genuinely old white Jewish guys that ran fucking publishing companies and record companies, and that's why I say Clive Davis,
you're an
old white Jewish guy.
You can be called an anti-Semite.
Oh well, when it comes to hey, I got news for you. When it comes to the entertainment industry, it is what it is.
Yeah, and here's the funny thing: Jewish people would tell you that they run Hollywood. They're so overrepresented in all the entertainment industries. They know that.
You're taught in business school. You're literally fucking taught that the math used for film in the early days of Hollywood when they were trying to figure out how they weren't going to pay actors salaries anymore and they wanted to get on this royalty system. They literally brought in specifically teams of Jewish accountants from New York to write brand new formulas for their contracts, and they needed a brand new system on how to pay people in tiers. And that's who they brought in, was very specifically
European Jews from Europe and stuff. Yeah, started Hollywood. You can see it on YouTube, right? Jews have no problem even admitting that, right? It's like these weird lefty moronical types, so like atheist type.
Yeah. Now, if you hear me start screaming about the Illuminatis when I say those words, then you can call me a racist or an anti-Semite. Until then, no, the entertainment industry just is what it is, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't now. I don't think I'll be going out to buy my Kanye Swassi shirt anytime soon.
Well, he actually mailed me one.
Nice. Yeah, I love he did that. And they're like, "Why'd you do that?" He's like, "Free speech." I'm like, "Nah, bro. You're totally gonna have a better answer than that. You should have just said art, and you might have had.
I think he's just trying to shock people. Right, because
he's a manic.
How is a Ku Klux Klan outfit going to catch on in style? It's not going to, right?
He's a manic weirdo. He needs attention to breathe.
Kids are not going to wear an all black suit with a hood on your head. Okay, nobody's going to wear that. Who's going to walk around with a big outfit going down to your ankles? And a hood on your face in all black. You look like an executioner, for Christ's sakes. No, that's not.
You look like an insane person. No, you look like a fucking insane person. You look like you just pissed on the subway.
He just did that to shock people and get back at all the executives that fucked him over and shit. That's all.
Yeah.
Piss people off and stuff. He really doesn't think that's going to catch on and be a way that people dress, right? Like, definitely not.
All right, let's go through a little bit more because he's still telling us
about the defense overall. What is their defense? I know that there's been obviously different hearings that have been held. The defense has spoken to members of the media. What is their defense overall here?
Josh, their defense is going to be the following. This happened, but it was consensual. And whenever you're dealing with a sexual assault case, usually the defense will fall into one of two categories. I didn't do it, there was no sexual activity, or I did, and it was consensual. And because we're not dealing with minors here, argue consent. And really, they're going to argue that the victims here, they're lying. And they're lying for one of three reasons, or maybe all of them. Money, and many of them have filed civil lawsuits. Cassie's, of course, has settled for an 8-figure sum, 10 million or more. Then you have maybe victims who are seeking fame because of Diddy's power and influence in the entertainment industry. And last, maybe revenge. And, oftentimes defendants will argue that this is a disgruntled ex that has an axe to grind. So this case will...
Dude, if that's their defense and he's going to testify, he's going to prison.
Sure.
I gotta be real.
It's an ex who's mad. That's terrible.
Or they thirsty, yo. They just trying to be all up on my junk because I'm P Diddy and I'm famous and important now. Or for money. Okay, so fine. Will a couple of people maybe listen to that shit for a minute and go, yeah, okay, maybe they're fucking hoes or whatever, but that shit's only gonna last for one or two people that are crying, telling you about how they got drugged and buggered. Yeah. Dude, no. These people are gonna be like, okay, you're a fucking asshole, bro. That you're starting to sound pretty classic fucking asshole villain to me. I can't see it. If that's their shit and he testifies, he's going to prison.
Yeah, he's fucking stupid.
No fucking way.
That's a terrible defense right there.
Terrible defense. That, and if you put, and again, like the rest of them that I've been reading, they're planning to say that he found the lifestyle of swinging perfectly acceptable and there's nothing wrong with it. He thought that group sex and hiring prostitutes was totally acceptable in normal life. You put that on top of, they're trifling and they're fucking gold diggers and They just want no, bro. You're going to jail.
Yeah.
Nope.
He's
going to jail.
Like I said, he probably is content with that and knows he's going. He's just probably getting prepared for jail, maybe. Or maybe he thinks he can beat it. The arrogance, either or.
Yeah, he's got that arrogance all day long.
So it could be either way, right? Either he could think he's going to beat it, or maybe not.
Yeah, or he just, maybe right in the middle, he just refuses to go down without a fight. He's just going to plead not guilty and make them fucking prove it. Yeah. Either way, testifying is bad idea.
Yeah. Testifying is bad idea. What's up, Sybil? This morning, earlier. Yeah, I don't know. Testifying is a bad idea. Bad move. Is he really gonna be that dumb to get up there? Like, what the fuck is he gonna say? He's gonna look like
unless he changes his mind. I mean, like I say, this is as recent as today. They're saying he's still planning to testify on his own behalf.
And say what? How could he look good if he got up there and said, "Okay, what I did was wrong. I'm guilty." I don't know how they could take pity on him.
I paid all those prostitutes. They never did anything they didn't have to do. They asked for drugs, or they knew I was giving them drugs. They knew that I was filming them. And people will instantly start calling bullshit. Nothing good can come from it.
What about the Cassie thing? Maybe he could say real role playing, right? Some lie like that, maybe.
Well, like I said, the only way I can see it, right, sure, if he just literally came out and was like, listen, this was my fucking long-term girlfriend or my fiance or whatever. Yes, I'm an abusive fucking asshole. In our relationship, I was abusive. I really regret that. What you're seeing here is me at my worst. She tried to leave me because I was being an asshole, right? I made her fucking stay. I hit her. I did all those things. But that's just a thing that happened between two people in a long-term relationship that was abusive. It happens every day. It had nothing to do with fucking weirdo, sexy stuff. And I'm still denying that I did that to other people. And I still think people will then call bullshit.
Yeah, they will. For sure. There's no way he's getting out of being the number one bullshit around that, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I'm being honest. If I thought
he's a fucking dummy.
Yep.
Which he will, because, he's going to be like, I want my last thing on it. I want to say what I got to say. And he's going to look like a total fucking psychopath.
Oh, and the prosecution will just dance on him. If he thinks that he's smarter than some of the best lawyers that this country has produced, he has got another thing coming. Yes, his defense team will be out there to scream, this, that, and the other thing and fucking file motions and shit, but that's not going to help you when the prosecution trips you up because they're smarter than you. And I'm not just picking on Puff Daddy. I'm saying when you've literally got the kind of trial where like the 10 best lawyers in the country are in that room between the prosecution and the defense,
don't lose.
They're gonna be smarter than most
and
people.
The feds usually don't lose, it's mostly for pleas, but usually they got solid cases when they bring them to trial. When they want to get
it's like
somebody,
a 95% conviction rate, I think.
Yeah, something crazy like that. And when they want to convict somebody, they convict them. And if they want to throw him to the wolves, like all these weird Davis pervert mogul types and shit like that, he's gonna get thrown to he was already thrown to the wolves technically. And then when that girl gets up there and these other women and some of these Rickyunes get up there, start crying, like you said, he's cooked. Play some more of it though, if you can.
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah.
Indeed be based entirely on cross-examination of the victim. So the government, of course, will want to corroborate their testimony. Some of these allegations were made many years later. The civil lawsuits certainly don't help because it creates at least the argument that this is about money and there's a potential motivation to lie or fabricate the evidence. So The government's going to want video. They're going to want independent witnesses. Obviously, members of Diddy's entourage help procure these women, set up the freak-offs, get the hotel rooms, set up the lights and cameras. So to the extent you have video, you have individuals that corroborate this victim testimony, I think that's going to be helpful for the Department of Justice in this case.
As far as the defense here, we are going to see the jury selection take place tomorrow. Testimony expected to get in about a week or so. So the following week after jury selection, what are the sides looking for when you talk about a possible jury pool here? It's unlikely that people haven't necessarily heard about this case or at least know who Diddy is. So what is the prosecution, the defense, what are they looking for in a jury?
Pause it for a sec.
Prosecution and defense, they're looking for
what kind of jury pool they're looking for, in my opinion. Probably women, right? Black women, mostly. They're going to want to pick from because, you know, a lot of them can look at him and see a nephew, a son, or maybe some of them were fans of his, especially in New York, right? Fans of his. Also men, they're going to want men, black men, and white men too, right? White men can sympathize with him and their defense lawyers' position and right? The way they're thinking.
I heard a lawyer talking about the woman, right? They said that they would the prosecution would probably want women, and the reason that they would probably want mostly women was because men mostly become emotional when they see women in pain.
Oh, of course.
And they begin to side with those women, and they stop listening to the evidence, and they're just driven by seeing all these women.
That's the truest thing in the world. What's the easiest thing to get us men, most human, to fucking is for a girl to cry. Once any woman cries, you're like, oh my God, is everything okay? Holy shit, right?
Yeah. And they said that a woman, when watching that same woman, will be much more critical and will then pay much more attention to the evidence. They'll become critical of that woman. And they said that's what they're looking for. They're looking for women that they know will actually be listening to them deliver evidence so that they can get a good case.
Yes, women are very good at seeing through bullshit, right? A lot of women are good at seeing through that kind of bullshit. Like they'll be very critical of the woman where you, like you said, the woman start crying. Like any woman run up to me or you and say, I was just attacked, and they're crying. You're going to be like, oh, I feel bad. Who's the asshole? Wow, that guy hit you? You're a prick, right? How dare you? You don't know what really happened though, right? The power.
Oh yeah. She could have just stabbed him with a fucking STD needle for all.
Put an onion in her face and fake cried. Like you see the trash on blast. Look at how some of these crazy women lie out there. Just like these crazy dudes. They're fucking sick.
Yeah, but anyway, so I just figured I'd share that. That was one of the better explanations I saw when I was looking through these news clips. Was that female lawyers say that men have a tendency to become very emotional when there's women on this, and they're crying and they're in a bad state, and they're talking about especially when a man has hurt them. They said the men, not all of them, but a lot of them statistically will stop paying attention to the evidence and just start thinking about how that dude's guilty.
They'll think of their mother, they'll think of their sisters, their female cousins, and that's a good point that she made right there. And I think it's pretty valid too, right?
Yeah. It sounds right. It sounds right. It made sense to me when I heard it. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, the natural power of some woman running up to you, you seeing her cry all emotional, you're going to feel bad. It's a natural instinct, right? You might believe her story and buy her story. And then her story could be totally bullshit, right?
Yeah. Well, the other part of this question he's asking this lawyer to answer is back to the point, like we said, you usually make, which is how are you going to find an unbiased jury? That he said everybody knows who this guy is. Everybody's seen everything there is to see on this guy. So how are you going to find somebody that hasn't, right? Right. Well, let's see. Yeah. I mean, I want to see what he has to say about that then.
For favorable jurors. And like you said, Josh, everyone in the entire world has heard about this case. There's no place in the country, or maybe even the world, you can move this trial to. It is indeed the trial of the century, or certainly the biggest trial since maybe Johnny Depp, maybe even going back to OJ. So what the defense is looking for, they're looking for favorable jurors. And what are favorable jurors? These are jurors that are skeptical of these types of allegations. Maybe people that think Me Too has gone too far. Maybe jurors who think that, well, women or men who put themselves in this situation can't later argue rape. This is really regret more than anything. Of course, the government is going to want to exclude those types of jurors, as well as any jurors that are potential fans of Diddy, because we know that celebrities tend to do better at criminal trials and even civil ones than ordinary folks. So any fans, the prosecution is going to want to get them off. Any stealth jurors, people that might want to get on this panel and write a book about it when it's all said and done. So I think
back to another point you made.
I think both sides are going to have their jury consultants, and they're going to use their intuition to remove any of these types of jurors. We have about 600 of them come to a panel. They'll be stricken one by one, and the 12 that remain are going to be the 12 jurors in this case.
As you mentioned here, this is a high-profile case. There's a lot of celebrities who have been named, involved in some way. So I have to ask, because I know we don't necessarily know for sure if Diddy will testify. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that he will take the stand?
I do not think he will. I think it's far too risky for the defense to put him on the stand. Now, there have been some rumors on social media that he will. And if he does, the entire case is going to come down to his testimony, which is typical when a defense. I think the defense is going to focus on undermining the credibility of the victims in this case. And if they believe that they've done a good enough job on cross-examination, they'll probably protect their client. Because if Combs takes the stand, then it's a free-for-all and the government can go after him. And that really opens the door to a very grueling and
Well, that's an interesting point. I think that that's probably true, right? So even if he is saying he wants to testify, if they do a good job at being scumbag motherfuckers that are going to go to hell when they die, of discrediting all these people, right? Then if they do a good job of that, then that means that there's no reason for him to testify. Even if he wanted to, even he would have to admit, okay, well, I should probably not take a bet on fucking
If it goes his way, yes, he won't testify. Just so that's it.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
If they do a good job at painting all the victims as fucking scumbags.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so yeah, hopefully the universe gives them cancer of the prick for that.
Aggressive cross-examination that will probably last days.
What about other high-profile celebrities who might be involved, maybe called to testify, might be there in the courtroom? What do we know about that?
That's the biggest question in the case, Josh. And, obviously when these allegations came out, and, this is really one of the worst kept secrets in Hollywood, there are a lot of other people who allegedly participated, many of whom are rich and famous celebrities. So the question is, who is going to be named by witnesses during the course of this trial, other rich and famous celebrities, and what is going to be the effect on those individuals, both inside and outside the courtroom? I can tell you right now that really no one in Hollywood wants anything to do with this case. They're trying to stay as far away from as possible for obvious reasons. So to the extent that Cassie takes a stand, I believe she's going to be the government's star witness, and she starts naming names. Those individuals are going to be in for a world of hurt. Their reputational fallout will be significant.
My last question for you here, what kind of message do you think that whatever happens here is going to send about maybe accountability there in the entertainment industry?
I think it will send a significant message. Some of these allegations date back decades, Josh, and let's not forget, if it wasn't for Cassie really opening the door and filing that bombshell lawsuit, and if Diddy had settled it earlier before these allegations were made public, he may still be a free man right now.
Yep.
It was really her. And obviously, Diddy has to be responsible for his own conduct, but this was taking place for years, decades, to move forward. So if Diddy walks away a free man, I think it would really set the movement back significantly. And if he's convicted, which I believe he will be, I think this will just be the beginning of the reckoning for the music industry. We've already seen it in the entertainment industry with folks like Weinstein, but I think the music industry is next up for both prosecutors and civil plaintiffs' lawyers.
And one thing I think a lot of people wish is that there were cameras allowed in the courtroom so we could see all of this unfold. But of course, reporters will be there to gather the information. Not exactly the same, but...
All right, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think he's fucked. And I hope that they do go after more and more people in the music industry for doing that shit to people if he gets cooked.
Yeah, he's all done.
His defense sounds like shit. It sounds like all bad ideas to say out loud. All of those things that they said were their defense were like all the things that they should not say as their defense. I think that those are things that are going to make people resent them. That's what I really think.
Yeah.
You know, that's classic trite bullshit. It's like, I don't know how much more trite you could possibly be than to say, nuh-uh, they don't like me and they want my money. Them's all whores, right? Like all of them are lying, dude. No. And I do want to add on, though, to something that he said. I just want to say that, yes, the Cassie chick might have been the final straw or like the catalyst for the press to get involved. But the government, when they raided his homes and they did their press conference, they literally said, dude, we've got dozens of these complaints and we had to do something. It has come to the point now where like we've been investigating some of them. We've been going through them, taking our time. But it's gotten to the point now where he's being accused of insane shit by a lot of people. And he's left us no choice but to raid his house and see if he's got these cameras. And when they found all those hundreds of cameras, they were like, damn, bro. All right, well, you fucked up, right? You fucked up.
Now, like I said, either was it a honeypot for blackmail or was it for his own perversions, right?
Well, I would think here's the thing. It would have, in my mind, I would almost say both because that's how they got Epstein to work for them. He was already the gross guy, right? They'd already caught him for being the gross guy, so they knew he was the gross guy. So I think it's the same thing with
gross
Daddy. I
guys.
think that he had so many. Go ahead.
Gross guys got nards.
Right, exactly. Yeah, but I figured they were like, at some point, they probably, throughout these dozens of cases that have been brought against them, they probably went and talked to him and were like, listen, man, we know what the fuck you're doing. We know that you're putting all these people in compromising positions. And we know that it makes you feel powerful and you're blackmailing them and shit, but we'll let you keep doing what you're doing, but you're going to start including us in on the infos and you're going to let us bring certain people to your parties on purpose. Right. You're going to work with us, right, in some capacity. And then, it just got too big to even keep protecting him. But I think that it would have been the same thing as Epstein. I think he would have already been the pervert motherfucker that they just used to their advantage.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, so he's both. He's definitely the perverted, nasty motherfucker.
All right, now we've talked about him and all this stuff. Now, what about the fallout, like the victim, the Biebs? Because they say the Biebs was the victim and then became the Rippo too, and like was forced on people.
It wouldn't surprise me. It seems like that's how these people develop that behavior. We started this show off talking about that with Diddy. Literally the first things we were saying where you said it most likely happened to him when he was a kid during those parties, and I agreed with you. But I said even if it didn't, it definitely happened to him when he got into the industry, right? And then he started doing those same things to other people. So it would only make sense that if some of these younger people like your Usher, like your Bieber, some of these other artists, if you got that treatment to you when you were younger, it only makes sense that as you got older, you would follow the same path.
But Bieber seems like he has remorse and he didn't like what happened, unlike Usher, who doesn't care about it.
Yeah, because he's so young, right? Like you saw him doing all that stuff with Will Smith's kid.
Oh, yeah.
He obviously had you know, he was obviously doing gay stuff, but it didn't seem like it was out of spite or to try and rob or blackmail people. He was just doing weird gay shit. And then I think you're right. I think he developed a lot of shame over that, especially after it went public and people called him every name in the world, and it probably affected his money. He felt a lot of shame. He backed out of that. He met a good girl. He had a kid, but I don't think he's ever going to get rid of that shame. Yeah, he feels taken advantage. And again, I just want to throw out there, because he was so young, you want to add to that shame the fact that, like, you were really let down by your parents. You're kind of you're really let down by other people that you really looked up to, and you had a reasonable expectation of these people to protect you. So it's a combination of just really bad, depressing feelings, bro, that they're trying to hide and mask behind drugs.
He looks like a lanky. He's got no meat on him. He looks terrible. The Bieber kid, terrible. He looks sick.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna pull up some pictures of him here in just a minute. Yeah, we'll pull up some pictures of him here in just a minute.
That video, man, of him blowing Odell Beckham, it was fucking twisted. It was twisted.
Yeah, we can pull up some of that stuff too. I'm just gonna grab.
Aegon, you're right. That girl did stalk him for years, dude. She was fucking all Lysa Aaron to his Peter Baelish, man, big time. She fucking stalked him for like 13 years to get married to him. She became friends with everyone he was friends with. She was Lysa Aaron to his Peter Baelish. What's up, honey bee?
All right, yeah, I'm just gonna grab a smoke real quick.
Drank some coffee milk.
And then we'll pull up some pictures and stuff like that.
Yes, KD knows too. Yep. Yeah. Well, they say she's a good girl. I don't know much about her. She's pretty, but she went all around all the circles that he was around and stuff. Basically, like, stalked him and shit. But
oh, what are you talking about? His wife? His wife's a good chick.
I wouldn't mind if some beautiful blonde, gorgeous girl stalked me. You know? As long as it didn't kill my rabbit, exactly. Right?
Well, yeah, that would be helpful.
I don't have a rabbit, but that was a Fatal Attraction analogy for anybody who don't know what the fuck's going on.
But yes, it would help if they were not a total psychopath. That would help.
Yeah. Selena, many freak. Yeah, wow. Yeah, she was probably obsessed with him for years, right? Probably had a crush on him for years. I'm going to get this guy and put herself at all places that he was. Mad. Oh, a lot of women do that. Guys, too. If you know some girl that you like is going somewhere, you go to the same places so you can run into her, right?
Oh, yeah, we've seen some of them people put tracking devices on their fucking cars so that they can figure out just the right time to bump them. Well, those people were psycho. Yeah, those were some of the trash sunglass people we've covered. Yeah, they said they wanted to figure out just the right time so that they could be wearing the right thing and be in the right content, pick the right time.
Twisted. I'm talking about regular, guy and girl shit, right?
Yeah.
What's normal and what's fucking creepo. Paging Mr. Herman. Paging Mr. Herman. Pee-wee's Big Adventure. You know what we got? No, I told you we got to do. We got to still think about doing the movie review thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm down.
Like review an old classic like that or something, some old classic that we both like.
I'm fairly certain we can get away with like a lot free, like do it pretty freely on Rumble. I'm just gonna have to figure out. I think on YouTube. I told you before. I think for YouTube, the best idea is for us to do the movie reviews pre-recorded so that I can edit it and make them small and follow all the rules and shit. Because I don't know how to really do all that here
Rumble
on StreamYard.
Then pre-record it.
I mean, if we pre-record it and I edit it the way that they say we're supposed to and make it a certain size, then we can load it up on YouTube also. I'm just saying, like, if we did it on Rumble, we could definitely play it and like live and not really
do it on Rumble and upload it to YouTube, right? Oh no, you could.
Yeah, we could do that.
I don't know
if
we
could
get
totally
a strike
do that.
though for using the.
No, on Rumble.
No, not
it
on
says
Rumble.
That,
you upload it to YouTube.
Oh yeah, no, we'll know right away, and then I can just fix it if we upload it. Yeah, then we can just fix whatever their problem is. Because everything I've read so far with YouTube is like the size of it on the screen, the size of the video on the screen, and then how much of it you play, like, and how much you stop and shit, like always. But it's about mainly the size of it on the screen, which seems arbitrary and weird. But everything about YouTube seems arbitrary and weird.
Yeah, true.
I hate all these rules. These fucking people.
Yeah, they did a bunch of shit to YouTube's live thing, man. My live fucked up today, where all I could do was delete it. I couldn't even save it, leave it, or nothing.
Yeah, I was in there when it disappeared. I was like, "What happened?"
Yeah, it fucking said loss of connection, and it would never come back, and it wouldn't let me leave it. When I tried to get back in it, it wouldn't let me. So I only had one option to delete it. Like, fuck, I wanted to leave it up for a few hours at least. You know. But I don't know, YouTube sometimes messes up, or maybe I just don't know what's up. Maybe I'm ignorant to the situation.
It was YouTube. It probably fucked it all up. But yeah, we could do that. We should plan on doing that then. We'll pick out a movie and we'll go live on Rumble and then download it from there, and I'll edit it together. We should definitely do that. There's a bunch of fucking great movies I'd love to watch and review for sure, and we like a lot of the same.
Like, gotta be something that the chat likes too. Something that you should do. Get the top 3 movies we pick from, and then like put it on a poll or something on the channel.
Yeah, no way. We're gonna watch old ladies sewing and they can fucking deal with it.
Ain't it? Watching fucking caterpillars like walk, or tortoises walk across the beach.
I used to tell the young people in my family, dude, I would tell them when they were doing something wrong, I'd be like, listen to me, if you don't do what I fucking told you, I'm gonna make you sit in front of the TV and watch old ladies sew. And they'd always give me that's not real, that's not a thing. And one day on one of them weird like public access channels, I saw this thing with a bunch of old ladies like making blankets out of yarn, and I fucking recorded it and blew those kids' minds. I was like, see, you fuck around. You're gonna be you watch old ladies sew.
My godsons were little, and some of my nieces and nephews, I used to tell them, I'm gonna sell you to China. We're gonna sell you to China. And they'd be like, if I'm bad, they're gonna throw me in China. I remember one of my girls like, what? Your godson just thought you were going to sell him to China. And I was like, his mother tells him that, too.
First class mail, I'll make sure you get there quick. I'll give you a little breathing hole.
Work factories, and he'd have to build houses and carry stones all day in China.
There you go. Yeah, you're gonna go do hard labor.
Yeah, I told him the communists. He was only a little kid though, but I told him the communists are gonna make him fucking carry stones all day. Or if the mother would get mad at him, the communists would make him carry stones. You're gonna go to China. They start fucking crying. Oh my god, I don't want to go to China. It was funny. The commies are gonna catch you. Just very proud to say my godsons hate communists. Very proud to say that.
All right, let me try and find some pictures of the Biebs real
quick.
Kill
Grammy for mommy. The red's under the bed. And the chat sound like hit the equals time. Uncle Edwin's funny. Yeah, you gotta I'm gonna go check out those pictures of little baby Edwin. That's a hell of a thing. Have your namesake. That's awesome. Watch my Blue Heaven. Yeah, that's a good great point, King Dom. That's a great one right there. Good idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Real good idea. That's funny.
I've told you before. There's a couple of classic scenes in that movie that remind me of a couple of my uncles that just make me laugh.
Yeah, it's a classic movie. It's funny too. The Freiburg Turtles, and the way he fucking acts. He's fucking funny, that guy. And it's so true. And all the stool pigeons moving down there, getting there and hanging out.
Yeah, it's
like they were doing a few years ago. Leto and all those weirdos. They're all hanging out down in Florida and all that weird shit. Going on vacations with Dowd. I bet just since his politics stuff, he's keeping far away from Dowd. That's for sure. Why don't you get Mikey Dowd on the council with you? Fucking, I am Michael Dowd. I'm a disgusting, fucking dirty cop.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Literally considered one of the worst cops to ever have a bad, like one of the dirtiest fucks on earth. Yeah, exactly, man. Rob old ladies.
Don't worry,
and stuff
Michael's
like that.
gonna guard the treasury. Michael Dowd will guard. He's gonna be state treasurer. He'll be okay. Everything's gonna be all right now. Everything's gonna be all right. Mike Dowd. Robbing old ladies one at a time. Creep. He really did. He took that old lady's money.
All right.
She called it robbery.
Oh.
Said her house was broken into. He goes, checks it. She just dropped the money and didn't know it, and he just took it and laughed on it on stream with a Leto. I'm like, what a fucking creep, man. No hot. I could never take some old person's money, man. Like, what the fuck? Even if I seen it fall out of her pocket, some old lady, I don't care how bad I needed it.
No, I'm not.
No, I don't care how bad I needed it, right? I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to hell. I don't care how bad I needed that money. I'm giving it back to her. Don't get me wrong. There's part of me that's like, damn, finders, keepers, losers, weepers. I really need this. But the main part of me is like, no, that's not yours. Give it back to the woman. And we'll always win over the other part. Look at this kid. Holy shit. He looks like Dallas Buyers Club. The Beverly Hills Buyers Club. Say hello.
Yeah, he's back to smoking fucking weed, hanging out with a bunch of weirdos. I'm gonna show you some of this.
Looks like one of Tom Hanks's lovers in Philadelphia. He's back to doing dumb shit. I thought he was with the pretty blonde. Living his.
Yeah, she just had to. They were at Coachella or whatever, one of these fucking music festivals, and he was all fucked up on pills and started smoking a blunt right in front of his 13-year-old brother, and his wife came over and grabbed his younger brother and took him out of the area to get him away from it, and was just like,
I wonder what
Justin shit.
Like, yeah, I can do whatever I want, guys. They made me suck dick. Like, that's his go-to.
Yeah, exactly,
he can get away with anything, right? It's like, well, what bad shit happened?
I'm sure he's probably
I had to fucking blow Puff Daddy, right? Like, they're like, that's true. He did get his ass reamed by Puff Daddy. So let's let him take Valiums and break all the house apart. If that's what's really going on. Yeah, Tommy.
I worked out with a bunch of greasy, degenerate motherfuckers.
And I worked in the rain. Well, not really, but half outside in the rain. So that's why my nose is clogged. But yeah, that's a beautiful place they live, right?
I don't know where that is, but yeah, the outside.
Hell yeah, nice, look at that. It looks like a mountain or something. But he looks, why does he got all pink on?
Well, here, I'll show you there's a close-up picture.
He's sitting there with fucking.
Yeah, that's what.
What fuck?
Look at
He's got a condom on.
He looks like that fucking. I can't think of his name, but he looks like a mush mouth from the fucking Fat Albert show. He looks like
he looks like he's got a safety on his head. Some weird pink condom. Look at that. That's weird. What the fuck? Look at the way he's looking. He looks like a tard. He looks like Emmy the Helmet's friend. Right?
He's all fucked up.
Wow. He looks like Jimmy the Helmet's friend, Sammy the Slow. Look at him. He's all fucked up. What a shame. Wow. Picture what goes on in his head. That's a fucked up picture.
Yep. I'm trying to find some more. He
looks few of these. Angry and all fucking pilled out, right? Like he's on Xan. He might wake up and kill the whole family. Right? Wake up eating his wife's brains, God forbid.
Yeah, he's definitely not in a good place, man. That's the general consensus, which is that he's been very standoffish from everybody, and he's been using drugs again. He's been very, very quiet. He's been trying to stay away from the public eye. He's been very withdrawn, even from his wife. Oh, here you go. Here's this is a good example of that. Here, hold on.
All right, so he's not even close with the wife now. Hey, looks blown the fuck out. That's right.
This one. Yeah, look at this shit. This is fucking weird, dude.
What the hell? Who's he with?
That's his wife.
The Haley girl, the model.
Yeah, the one that looks put together and showered and dressed and sober.
Yeah, she does. He looks. Yeah, he looks
that's
like
his
a
wife.
Wreck. He's all.
Yeah, he's looking like the guy she just tossed $1 at.
Yeah, all baggied, out clothes, all fucking head down, hood over his face. Yeah, he looks like a rough dude. Right? Like, wow. Like crap.
Yep.
That's a lot of what do you think he's on? Like Valium or something like that?
Yeah, I honestly don't know. But my guess is some kind of downer. Yeah, I mean that would be my guess.
So yeah, some sort of something to take him out of reality, right? I don't think he's on uppers, right? Because crack.
No, he's not like speeding or doing. He's literally doing downers, man, and smoking weed. Yep.
Yeah, it probably kills the pain for him.
Yeah, it helps him forget the taste of penis for a while.
Yeah, that's for sure. Because
honestly, I think it has a lot to do with like the world finding out and like really calling him on it.
You don't think
it's a shame, like not just of it happening, but of everybody calling him on it and making thousands of videos that are just like, we know you got buggered, and
even both. Yeah, I would say both. No matter what, it's going to affect them. But yeah, obviously worse that everybody knows. Obviously that.
Yeah, and everybody's talking about it right now. You know, I mean, hell, I wouldn't want to be seen either. Even if it wasn't true, I'd be like, you better take me to some island in the middle of the fucking Pacific. You know what I mean? Where I don't have to talk to nobody. Nobody can see me. Nobody's gonna be like, hey, are you doing okay? I heard P Diddy shooting a road cone up your ass.
You think the wife? She's got to look different at him, right?
Probably. You know? Even just hearing about it being a possibility and then watching you spiral, even if you didn't open up and tell her the truth, yeah, she's probably like thinking you got deflowered.
What's up, Nick? He had to tell her.
I would assume that he would have. If it's his wife, and I would assume that once that shit came out, he probably would have had to have confided in her.
What's the odds of her not knowing? Right.
Yeah.
She just must feel like, it's her husband. What is she going to do? Trying to get him help, right? Just try to get him fucking help. But he's going to want to get the help to get off these drugs. But maybe the demons are too much. Who knows, right? Maybe, who knows what's making him not be able to get his shit together or get over these demons, these rippers that ripped him. I would say God, you know, but maybe he wasn't raised like that. Everybody's different. But he's got to do something, right? Like, shit. What's next? God forbid him hanging himself? Yeah, pure guilt, too. Well said. For doing wrong. And guilty for going with these men. Like, when he was younger, he couldn't help it. But as he got older, he could have said no, you know? It's like, all right, I get you. All right, they groomed or whatever. But I was a kid one time, and if somebody tried to touch me, I would have fucking never went back near those pricks again. I would have tried to fucking, I'd fight them off in case I couldn't. And God forbid that wasn't the case. I'd never go back around those bastards. Or any weirdo gave me creepy vibes. That's for sure. Who would? Right?
Yeah.
But I guess the fame, him wanting to be, you know, a pop star so bad that he's like, you know what? I don't care if
he didn't. Yeah, he was already famous and on his way. He didn't need that shit from Puff Daddy, I don't think. But again, like his friend Usher set him up.
Took advantage.
They cornered him and they fucking got him all fucked up on drugs and probably took it.
Yeah, they took advantage of the kid. And turned him out. Fucked him up and turned him out.
Here's the Odell Beckham video.
Some people's like, this doesn't prove nothing. It's right. Yeah, watch this fucking video.
I said this. I mean, I stick to what I said. I watched this with you, and I said it doesn't look good, right? Like you don't see it in his mouth, but it doesn't look good.
It doesn't show it happening, but
right.
No,
it doesn't look good. There's people like pulling their pants up in the background and all that. Yeah, well, it's only 25 seconds long, so we'll watch it a couple times. Let's just let it play through. I'm not going to put the sound on because it's got music playing and shit in the background.
Now that's Beckham. Right,
here we go.
And the white thing. Look at him. And there's him getting up. Why would he be that low to the ground? And look, he looks like he's mad. Why are they filming this?
Yeah, we're going to go little by little, right? So there he's popping up. He's literally reaching for his pants. He's looking at the camera all shocked, like what? Like you said, like what the fuck are you doing? Why are you recording this? He's pulling his pants up, trying to fit. And there's Bieber down right.
Keep that pause for just a second. Look at that shit. What would he be smoking? Like he was smoking a joint. What? Like, why would he care if somebody had a camera if he was smoking a joint? This is group humiliation.
And why would you be smoking a joint down on your knees facing another man's crotch who's pulling his pants up? It's like you were smoking something, all right. It just wasn't a joint.
No.
And look at him. He's got the same look. Like, dude, what the fuck? What are you doing?
Watch, run it back.
He's mad.
And play it. Like, this is undisputable. Go buy it second like you did. There's no way getting by it. This is not that. Look how he went at that camera. Watch how he goes after the camera. See? Come on, that is some weird shit.
It don't look good. There's really no way to explain that, man. I don't know how you'd explain it otherwise.
Yeah.
There's no reason for you to be crouched down facing him.
In case there's some like the only explanation, what could it be? Like he took a seizure and fell on the ground, and they were giving him water or something. I don't know. What could that? What the hell could the excuse of that be? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Then whoever released it wanted to humiliate them. Somebody close to them, close enough to take that video, right? Close enough to take that video. Someone said he could have been throwing up also, and the dude could have been consoling him, or I don't know, something weird like that. I'm like, I don't know. That dude,
yeah, I don't know about that.
That's not a good look. And isn't he worth a lot of money, record-wise and all that?
Oh, yeah. That guy's
I can't even tell you one song of his, but I know who he is, obviously. I've heard him for years. Bieber, I've heard him for years. I can't even name one song. Not one song. He's a little Canadian dude, too.
Yep.
The mother was a single mom who didn't know Hollywood well and trusted everybody. And they bugged the Biebs. Well, you know what? He could never, I don't know, redeem himself, but get back at them and come out and testify against all the sexual, creepy stuff and out everybody, right? Like, just out all of them. But,
and here's the one with Jaden Smith.
He looks like an alien, this kid.
Oh, he's a worthless pile of shit. He's literally his whole family are wastes of fucking air. I mean, don't get me wrong. Will Smith was cool in like Men in Black and Fresh Prince, but other than that, he's a useless. As a human, he's a fucking piece of garbage. And his children and his fucking disgusting pig fucking wife, she makes me want to fucking retch.
Disgusting, unmatched.
And I'm not even talking about what she looks like. That's a different disgusting wretch kind of a conversation. I mean, who she is as a person. She's a disgusting, horrible.
She loves emasculating him,
banging her kids' friends. Yeah, and both of her kids are literally worthless fucking piles of shit. Who are crazy. They suffer from fucking entitlement like nobody's goddamn.
Oh, they're weirdos. What's up, Roddy Parade? Remember the daughter? Remember the daughter was laying with that weird hippie white dude when she was like 14 in her underclothes, and that hippie white dude's got his shirt off. Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah, he was like some hippie white dude who was in his fucking late 20s. And she was about 14 years old, man. And she's laying half naked with him on a bed. It was disgusting. Remember, a lot of people looking at that going, what the fuck is wrong with them? Why is your daughter laying with some fucking weird hippie guy who's in his fucking 50s?
They're disgusting. They're disgusting humans, bro. They're absolutely disgusting humans.
Yeah, everybody hates them.
Let me see if this is. Hell no. Get off my. I don't even want to see your fucking face.
He's a weird kid. Look at him.
But this shit right here. What the fuck? Dude, he's got his hands on his crotch.
Yeah, that's fucking weird.
And he's got his crotch against his butt cheeks.
Yeah, that's super.
That's how you hold, like,
a woman. That's a woman.
Girlfriend, dude. Yeah, your wife.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, exactly.
And they're like and he's like dancing with him, dude. It's like that's one of the weirdest parts. He doesn't just have his arms around him with his hands on his crotch and his pelvis on his butt. Like they're like dancing. He's like gyrating on him. And then they kiss.
Freaks.
I love Justin Bieber. That's just a fact.
Well, talk about brotherly love.
Yeah, that's entertainment tonight. I don't want to play that. We'll get clipped.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Holy shit.
Yeah, who does that, man? Even if they were real close friends, what close friend does that?
No.
And no one punched their close friend in the head for doing that, right?
Any one of those things. You press your pelvis against my ass, we got a serious motherfucking problem. You reach around me and put your hands anywhere near my belt line, I'm punching you in your fucking mouth.
Yeah, it's some weird fucking Ricky stuff, man.
Friend or not, we're gonna get to the bottom of this here, bro. No, you're not touching me like that. You got me fucked up.
Evidently, you're not my friend if you're trying to pull some weird touchy move. You're gonna get punched.
No. Since when you fucking gay, bro? Right? Like, and when the fuck you think you could get away with touching me like that? Oh, hell no.
Yeah, what made you think I would go along with your phenolic fantasy, you freak?
Yep. I hope you know. I hope you get hit by a fucking truck. You better hope you get hit by a truck before we make it back to the fucking neighborhood and I tell everybody about that gay shit you just did to me and you get thrown out the fucking neighborhood.
Yeah, I'm not a phenolic.
I got news for you, motherfucker. You're getting ready to have to move. You're getting ready to have to move. You just wait. Yeah, you just wait. You think this shit between me and you is bad. Wait till I tell everybody from the neighborhood. You're fucked.
How about Fibby when his friend was masturbating in the other room? And Fibbins was all like in his glory, like, hey, what are you doing in there? Doing the touchy? Like, what the fuck? Who does that?
Bro, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you... I wouldn't be able to get away from a room fast enough if I thought somebody was literally on the other side of a piece of wood giving themselves the old-fashioned. Not only would I not speak to them, I would be trying to get the fuck away from there as quick as possible.
He wanted to film it.
Oh, yeah, he wanted to go in there and help him out. Yeah, he wanted to go in there and help him out.
He thought it was fun.
He was ready to play an away game.
He's like, he's doing the spanky. Like a little kid. Like, you fucking sick pup.
Yeah. I'll blow you with my butthole. You let me in.
And they were like roommates.
Oh, of course they were. Of course they were. Yeah. Yeah. Every other morning, your day in the barrel.
Your day in the barrel.
Yeah. Every other day. We take turns around here. Yeah. And I get to be and I'm always the big spoon. You're the little spoon.
Fibby runs a tight ship, yeah.
Yeah, well, right now he's a kept man.
Yeah. Well, he's deeply hurt about Spanky's cheesesteak shit. Him getting the cheesesteaks. He's deeply hurt.
No, it's not going to get any easier.
No.
It's not going to get any easier. He's going to have to continue to try and rebuild his life.
Yeah. I wonder what new city he's going to come from.
I mean, part of me wishes we would never hear from him again. However, I know that's not going to happen. That's not a possibility. He will reinvent. So I'm kind of interested to see what the next iteration of this freak.
Could he be Count Dracula's long lost nephew, who's a member of the Dracula family? Anything
possible. I would still I would love to see this dude go country.
Yeah,
western.
Hank Williams, real grandson or something.
Yeah, Billy the Kid. He's related to Billy the Kid or something like that.
Yeah, Doc Holliday was his uncle. Was his family dentist, Doc Holliday. And his real father was the Earp brothers.
Yeah, he's gonna start doing shots from like the Alamo and shit. Like he's gonna go to San Antone.
He claims
I would love that, bro.
Yeah, he met Kevin Costner, and Kevin Costner told him all about Tombstone.
Could you imagine seeing that disgusting, ugly, acid-faced melon of his with a 10-gallon hat on it? It would be the funniest thing.
Well, I seen recently he was yelling at that guy Daniel DeMeo who made Gravesend because he's like a Jewish guy who changed his name to an Italian name, I guess it's his mom's name. And Tiffy was like, "You're not even Italian. You've got a Jewish last name." It's like, Tiffy, so do you. You know, that makes no sense. Why you're saying that, right? Like, and Phoebe's like, he's lying about where he's from. So are you.
So are you, weirdo.
Yeah. At least that guy made some like stupid show, right? More than you could do. You couldn't make a stupid show.
Yeah. Where's your LeBaron, Freddie?
Yeah.
I don't see your LeBaron. I only see one LeBaron.
He's a sick fuck.
They must have loved him more than you.
No cheesesteak for Phoebe.
No. They do rub that shit all over his naked body when he got home.
And he must have eat your heart out, Loman.
Yeah, right. Send him a picture of him just like playing with his titty and like rubbing his hands in the last few crumbs on the table.
Yeah, takes a picture of him like drinking a yoo-hoo, eating the cheesesteak with his thumbs up. I beat you. I won.
Yeah. It was good. It was good, Phoebe. It tasted real good.
I won. With all balloons, like a party. I beat you. I won. That shit really pisses those guys off. Phoebe, it probably broke his fucking heart.
Oh yeah, Nadu's probably a popper.
He's like, yeah, pop. He's probably like, I was so close. I was so close. I thought I earned it. I went to try.
Well, yeah, in the world of stalkers, he definitely earned a gold star.
In his mind of, I went to trials and looked up this and that. I earned hugs, love, admiration, lies about I should be your family member. I deserve a lot in Phoebe world. A lot Phoebe believes he deserves.
Went on to South Philly, made fake friends with all the guys. I learned the street plans. I talked about the street plans.
Yes.
Had the inside scoop for months on this guy.
He was hurt.
Well, there's no doubt about it.
And he said it never bothered him. It's like, dude, you changed your whole fucking channel and everything. You wanted to hide it.
It didn't bother you. You went on a crazy fucking tirade that you wrote down in your diary first and then pre-recorded 5 or 6 times to make sure you got it right. What do you mean you didn't care, bro? You've been freaking the fuck out, threatening this guy and all kinds of crazy shit, talking shit about his family. Yep. Telling him that the mafia doesn't like him no more, and you know it, and you talk to all the guys in the street. Word in the street's not good, Joey. Guys and all the guys in the street are talking.
He's crazy.
Talking about with your dirty hot dog water self, bro. Get the fuck out of here.
His mind is fucking out there.
Yeah.
That dude, good night, Roddy. He is out of his fucking gorg. Literally out of.
I love it when you talk to the guys in the street. It makes me laugh. You're a psychopath.
Yeah, he makes up these wild fantasies about him knowing guys in the street, which the guys in the street he's talking about off like fake other humps on the phone and lying to him, telling him they're mob guys, or they're just made up, either or.
Mostly made up. Yeah, when he's talking about he went to South Philly and he hung out with street guys and he's getting the inside scoop, that's all made up. When he talks about the street guys in Brooklyn he talks to, that's all made up. For sure. I mean, now is it possible we got the classic mob hump stuff where like he went down to a pizza shop and the guy's name was Luigi, so he's in the mafia?
Yeah, sure.
That's the daydreaming stuff that he suffers from.
Yeah, that's from the daydreams.
All those people better be careful. They're gonna fuck around and get stalked. Anybody that lives near the gay painter, the gay painter that he lives with, anybody in like an Italian pizza shop or anything close by, sandwich shop.
Why, you really think he lives with like some French gay painter named Pierre? And
yeah, bro, I really think he's a kept man. He can't afford rent in New York.
He said he lives in where? Somewhere in Manhattan or something.
Yeah, there's no way. Yeah, and I think he even said specifically before that he was like the Lower East Side or the Village. That motherfucker has no job. He cannot afford the rent there. If he is living in New York, then he is being kept by a gay man. He is definitely.
He's got some trust fund things like. I think it's possible that family left him money, right, where he can like pay rents and stuff like that. I don't know. Or maybe I'm wrong,
no,
and maybe he's selling that ass to Pierre.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's got himself a little Harry Potter apartment under the stairs. The guy fucking pisses on him when he's bad, but when he's in a good mood, he gives him baths and stuff like that. The refrigerator.
Remember People Under the Stairs? How funny that movie was.
Yeah, I remember People Under the Stairs. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Phoebe's that kid living under the staircase. And the gimp suit guy is chasing him, looking the bugger. all that's on his mind is buggering.
Yeah.
And all he can think about is that Rawlings Ketchum it calls Phoebe's Facha's face.
Yeah. Yeah. Just wait till I get my hands on that little catcher's mitt.
Patriarch is my grandfather.
Yeah, you touch me and the mafia is gonna get you, Mr. Person Under the Stairs.
Yeah.
You're gonna be in big trouble.
They're not gonna be happy. What a sick puppy that guy is. Wow.
The guys in the street are coming.
Yeah. All the guys in the hood. He's fucking nuts.
Oh yeah, Tommy, The Burbs is another killer movie. Yep.
Yeah, The Burbs is good.
Love that movie.
Yeah. Real good movie. Feldman was whacked on dope in that movie. He had to redo that opening scene where he comes out of the house so many times.
Oh, well, when he sees the hot blonde neighbor gardening and stuff like that.
No, when he comes out and starts like talking about the neighborhood or whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you.
I believe it's in the beginning.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I got it. I was thinking about when he first comes out and he sees the neighbors and the movie kicks off. No, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a classic, The Burbs. That came out in what? Early 90s.
Yeah, I'll look it up real quick. We'll find out exactly what year it came out.
I'd say 90 or 91.
89.
Wow, off by 2 years. 89.
It was right there at the very tail end. You know.
What, December?
October.
Oh, all right. Wow.
Yeah, right there. Right there at the end.
Carrie Fisher. Who was in there? Carrie Fisher, that Feldman, Riccione, Tom Hanks.
Yeah, Bruce Dern, Rick Dukeman, Wendy Shaw, Henry Gibson.
A lot of supporting actors and shit, too. Like, decent supporting actors were in it. Even the freak with the red beard. That pale dude was all pale and fucked up.
Yeah, came with the frame. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Who you got in that picture? Who's that? I've never seen them before. Came with the frame.
What were their last names?
Kovac.
The Kovacs, that's right.
The Kovacs, yeah, that's what it was. Yep. Yeah, that was a great movie, man. But yeah, back to what we were talking about. Yeah, hopefully we'll get to we'll see what the newest reinvention of Phoebe will be. I'm also looking forward to seeing if we get any kind of retort video from Nadu about the FBI call. I'll be interested to see if anything comes out of that from his end. I want to see him defend himself. I want to hear that.
He won't.
You think he's just going to let it lie?
Yeah, but I'm going to play this other guy's video of those rats and Rat Love is taught and explaining it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing. I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, they're like.
But you don't think he's going to retort? You think he's just going to let it go?
Maybe. I really don't. Yeah, maybe. I think he's just going to let it go because
he hasn't said anything yet.
That's why I say that.
Okay.
Because the guy who's saying it is like saying that he feels bad and all this shit. It's like, if you feel bad, why are you recording him? Why are you trashing him now? And he's like, I don't hate him or nothing. It's like, all right, then why you throw him under the bus?
Why are you even talking about it? Right, sure. On a
but
rat.
He is, but the way he explained it, he knows Spanky well, because it did sound just like something Spanky would do. Sitting in the car, saying, I'm going to kill myself. Marleno's going to kill me, put a hit out on me. The mafia's going to get me. Oh, my God.
That's some Phoebe level shit right there.
Yeah, and Spanky is very similar to him.
Yeah, they are.
Think about all of his morals change within a half a bite of a cheesesteak. He went from we push back is bad, rats are good, to dominant career is right within a half of a cheesesteak. That's a mentally ill person right there.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you just don't have a change on convictions, on beliefs overnight like that. Just because you ate half of a cheesesteak or ate a cheesesteak, right?
No, you think something's in it for you, of course. Yeah,
you're
trying to gain benefit. That's the first thing I said too. Yeah, we both actually. It was one of the things that made me laugh when that info came out. We were both in there. And we were like, bullshit.
Once again,
cozying up. We put it different ways, obviously, but we had the same idea. This dude's just sucking up.
Yeah, once again, a fanboy just going along, a man of low character, right? No character whatsoever. Just changing whatever's going to help him and benefit him.
Yeah, because he can never, ever, 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 ever defend or go back on the shit that he said about We Push Back and the people that belong to it, and JTP. It was all of them. Everybody.
Even never mind that. What he said about Marleno and being partners with Sakali, who trashed Marleno's wife and all that shit, like real fucked up shit. You know?
Yeah.
He's a fucking scumbag, and not only talking shit about trying to frame Dom and lie and say like there's some secret bad thing he did out there, like trying to slander the guy and fuck with him, right? Even his channel of having stool pigeons on there, letting them push their narrative to attack people, calling people mob guys and shit.
He's best buddies with Borello, who's been doing nothing but talking shit and going to war at Marleno. And he does it for the same reason Borello's always done it. He always just tries to get some of these people to say his name. He's looking for numbers.
Yeah.
He's looking for validation so he can get another interview out of somebody.
Yeah.
That's all that shit is. But in the end of the day, though, like you're saying about Nadu, it's like he's friends, though, with this rat that's talking mad shit about Marleno, talking about how he wants to beat his ass, how he wants to punch snuff in his fucking mouth.
Well, they even trashed the guy's ex-wife, for Christ's sake.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Come on. Fuck, is anything sacred? Even though I still support the guy, I respect what he did for Philadelphia, helping people, bashing the rats, pushing the We Push Back stuff, and keep doing your rat of the month. But to be quite honest and factual, it does hurt your credibility when you say, "Hey, these people are bad. Their enablers are bad," and like, well, why are you friends with one of the biggest enablers, right? It kind of hurts the cause, and of like it kind of helps. All right, it takes away from somebody making great points and shit like that. By now, that gives the rats ammunition to call you a hypocrite, right? And shit like that.
Yeah, and it brings more people over to his channel to hear him talk shit about you.
Yeah.
When he decides that he's going to do that again after he's run out of cheesesteaks. Or he's not invited next time. He's not invited next time, or he decides you haven't fucking shouted him out enough or talked about his channel enough, and he turns on you again.
Yeah, somehow the rats win him over. Oh, you also got to worry about. Remember, look what happened. Never forget what happened to Korea and Madonna. Those guys really got put away over some fat rat liar from Missouri getting pulled over with heroin and just making up lies, and shit just snowballs.
He was rolling in the street. Yeah, he was starting to roll right there in the street.
Imagine if Spanky. Imagine this, right? Just hear me out for a sec. Imagine if Spanky at one of those other wise guy humps who goes to these fucking meetings and factories and hangs out and pays money to be friends and bullshit with. What if they leave there and get busted with dope or pills on them? And when the cops grab them, they make up a huge lie and say, this guy told me to do it, when it's a total lie. But they just make up a total lie. Hey, you might beat it, but you're most likely going to get indicted or charged or even brought down to the station. Something.
And right? And for them, they don't care because it would have already got them out of the trouble that they were in the first place.
Yes, exactly.
True or not, it would have got them out. They would have made a deal. Yep. And I'll go one step further. If it comes to somebody like a Nadu or a Fibby, well, not Fibby, he doesn't have any friends, but if it happened to Nadu, one of his friends got busted, Nadu would probably offer information just to get his friend out of trouble. He's such a little fucking mommy's fat cupcake.
Yes, he is a little butterscotch cupcake. All with the cream on top.
Yep, soft little fucking Augustus Gloop bitch.
Yeah. I remember when he tried to say he had integrity and stuff. It's like, really?
No.
Wow, within 2 days, Dominic Creel was right. Within 2 days. You slanderous little liar. You little fanboy. I've always predicted everything about these fanboys and these humps. I know them well. Even though I don't know them, I know the mind of the fanboy and the fangirl. I know the mind of them. And nothing is more important than their stool pigeon, love, any of their love for
of the moment. Yeah, they're still pigeon of the moment, whichever one they happen to be obsessing over right now or they have access to right now. Sure. That's a revolving situation.
Yeah, I know. They go back with a friendship and stuff. I guess Spanky and Snuff Kid, but still, if you have beliefs where you don't like that shit, I don't know how you can be friends with fucking Spanky. It makes no fucking sense whatsoever in my world, right? That's just me.
Well, yeah, and again, like just because you knew somebody in high school, you might have been cool with them back then, but then they grew up to be a mob hump fucking freak that puts jackets on people and tries to make their life about following weird mob dudes. You can't associate.
And he puts jackets on people. Like how the hell do you be friends with that guy? And he tries to put fake jackets on the guy who comes on your show and helps you fucking expose these stool pigeon bastards. Right? How many times did he wish for fucking guys to die and rot in jail and shit? It's just I was really disappointed when I seen that. I'm like, come on, man. The fuck? Anybody stand for anything? It's like, shit. Time fucking hump the fuck off. Get the fuck out of here, you fanboy.
Yeah, so the other one we got to look up soon is that Shannon Sharp thing that's going on.
I don't know. From some people I hear it's some girl lying, and then they say he was a pervert. I don't know much about it.
We'll have to watch something on it soon. Like, we'll wait till I wanted to cover this very beginning stuff of the Diddy trial just to get caught back up with it while they're doing jury selection and talking about some of the people and the charges again. And then we'll just follow up on Friday after most of that jury selection should be done.
How long does it take for jury selection?
They said that they're trying to get done with jury selection this week so that they can start opening arguments on Monday.
Wow, and it's going to take 2 months.
Yeah, for the trial. But I don't know how they're going to make it through all those jurors by Friday, man. They're talking about they started off with a pool of 600.
Probably going all night talking to the people, interviewing them or something like that, right? Talking to.
I mean, you have to be doing mad hours, right? It can't just be a regular 8-hour day if you're going to make it through 600 people in 5
case
days,
you got
dude.
like 40, 50 people interviewing them, right?
Yeah, but they're not. They're just bringing them up one by one, and then both sides get to ask them their questions or whatever. Or I guess maybe somebody asked them the questions in the presence of both the prosecutors and the defense, but I would imagine they both get to ask questions.
Yeah, because they're both picking jurors, right? You got the defense saying, I want this one. Exactly. The prosecutor saying, I want this one, you know? And they can trade off and all that shit. That's what juries.
And they're both trying to get your pick dismissed for whatever reason it is, because if you like them, then they don't want them. Yep, absolutely. And they said they have to whittle it down to 45 people by Friday, and then they have to whittle that 45 down to 18.
Yeah, because there's backup jurors in case the juror is dismissed for whatever reason or...
Right, and there's 6 of those, right? So you got the 12, and then you have an extra 6. So you have 18 that they have to pick out of that 45.
Yeah, okay.
So that's a hell of a job they've got ahead of them, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like I said, but there's so many people trying to get on that, Jerry. How many fans and people who want to write books and documentaries that are like looking and going through their questions right now to answer the best question and all that shit. So many.
Yeah, we're going to find out. We'll follow up with it a little bit on Friday, and then maybe if I find anything worth watching, we'll watch some of the Shannon Sharp stuff on Friday too for the current events part. But I'll see what I can find.
Yeah. Listen, I got to take off.
I'm getting ready. I was saying that's why I was kind of closing up. That's why I was kind of saying I'll catch up with it on Friday. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I got to go to work in the morning. But hey, take care, everybody. God bless you. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too, man. I'll talk to you soon.
God
Be
bless.
safe. Later, bro. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming through. We had a good little show real quick. Go over some of this beginning stuff, like I was just saying, fresh, and the reporters are kind of going over everything from before and bringing up some good points on what might happen soon and what's going on with the process. I mean, finding out that he turned down a plea agreement and that he's actually trying to involve himself in picking the jurors, and neither of those seem like very good ideas. And the defense that we heard that they plan to make is not very good. So I'm glad we checked this out tonight. I was wanting to do that here towards the beginning of the week so we could let the rest of it unfold and maybe touch base again with it on Friday during the Skullbro show. And I think we might look a little bit into the Shannon Sharp this Friday too, if I can find anything good. What's today? Yeah, I might do a hell chat. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. I'm going to try and get a hold of Gigi. He and I have been wanting to do a show a couple times a month. So I'll see if maybe Gigi's around. But either way, I'll put something up tomorrow if I'm going to go ahead and do a hell chat for Wednesday. If not, I appreciate everybody for coming through. Always good seeing everybody. And if I don't see you in a chat beforehand, I will definitely see you on Friday for the Skullbro show. Definitely hit the like on your way out. Leave a comment if you've listened to this live or if you're listening to this later. Let us know what you think about the Diddy trial. Let us know what you think about, the defense. Like, what side of the fence would you take with some of the defense points that they're going to make? That all these girls are like, or all these women rather, are thirsty and they just want money, or they hate him and want revenge, or they're trying to set him up so that they can be famous and write books. Yeah, I don't think any of that's going to fly. But let us know what you think. We usually do our best to comment back. So I'll be looking forward to seeing what everybody has to say about this. I'll see you guys on Friday. Be safe. Later.